Years have gone by, Xbox done fried every chance they had. Now it's just bad. Could have changed the game, giving PlayStation a bit of blame. Push them to be better, lived up to the letter. Showed them X marks the spot, but just like we thought, Xbox wasted years, brought us all to tears. Prices shooting high, brings a tear to my eye. Games just get delayed, man, they could have had it made. But now it's on Asher, Asher, oh Asher. Xbox needs your help. Years of mismanagement, old leaders face banishment. Now Asher can rescue it, change it, snap it, fix it. Asher, oh Asher, you're our only hope. We pray that this is real and not just cope. Please save the brand and look us in the eye. Say you're a real person, not just another AI. Everything became an Xbox thanks to Sarah and Phil. Audience hated it, they'd had their fill. Starfield was boring, Call of Duty still blows. Fable looks great, but will we get it? Who knows? But now it's on Asher, Asher, oh Asher. Xbox needs your help. Years of mismanagement, old leaders face banishment. Now Asher can rescue it, change it, snap it, fix it. Asher, oh Asher, you're our only hope. We pray that this is real and not just cope. Please save the brand and look us in the eye. Say you're a real person, not just another AI. Asher, we've been waiting for oh so long, for someone to come and sing a different song. We're tired and sad, but you can give us hope. Prove to us and that it's not just cope. Oh, but now it's on Asher, Asher, oh Asher. Xbox needs your help. Years of mismanagement, old leaders face banishment. Now Asher can rescue it, change it, snap it, fix it. Asher, oh Asher, you're our only hope. We pray that this is real and not just cope. Please save the brand and look us in the eye. Say you're a real person, not just another AI.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. It's good to be here. Good to be here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. How are we? For some reason, I had all the chats off. Hi. How's everybody doing? Everybody feeling good? Everybody feeling good? Hopefully you are. I know I do be feeling good. It is a beautiful day, a beautiful, beautiful Friday, May 1st. May the 1st fill you with joy. That is my wish today for you. Yes, much love. We vibing. I'm glad to hear it. It's Friday, bitches. Yeah, you're damn right. You're damn right. And you know, when it's Friday, you know what we have to do. We vibing. We vibing. We do be vibing indeed. We do. Do I have any other funny sound bites? I don't even know.
Welcome to Highguard.
I don't know why it's so quiet. Welcome to Highguard. Oh, Jeffrey. Oh, Jeffrey. We have a few things I want to look at today. Rocking and rolling. Should be pretty chill. Of course, there's, as always, a new debate stirring up around IGN and their reviews, seemingly even with some active debate that might actually have an impact. We'll see. It looks like somebody at IGN is actually trying to understand why people are making fun of them so much, which is good. So we will talk about it. We'll discuss it and go through it. because there's plenty to say. Furthermore, there's a little bit of discourse, a couple of things I wanted to get to in previous streams that we haven't really had the chance to. So we'll kind of circle back to it and get there. But yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. Just picked up Pragmata and Saros for my birthday. Going to be a good weekend, dude. Fire. They are, I mean, they're quite different games. I'll tell you that. Pragmata is like, I wouldn't call it relaxing or chill, but it's a very different kind of game than Saros. Like Saros, you gotta kind of like, okay, here we go. It's intense. The one thing I will warn you, Saros, I don't remember if I mentioned this in my videos, but Saros is the first game in a while that I accidentally played until like close to 3 a.m. I didn't realize. At one point, Nikki went up to bed. I was like, yeah, I'll be up in just a minute. But because Saros is built around these like 25-minute runs, basically, it's like 20 to 30 minutes, but usually it's right around 25. And because it's built around that, it's like just enough time for that loop for you to do it and be like, okay, let me just do one more real quick. And you don't even realize how much time is passing. Like I straight up just was going run to run. And I was like, okay, we're making progress. And then one point I was like, my eyes are kind of blurry. I'm like struggling to keep up. And then I like looked at my watch. I was, oh my God. it was like actually a flashback, because I've not had that happen in a minute. And because like I'll stay up late playing games, especially, you know, trying to get ready for a review embargo or something. I'll stay up late. That's fine. But it was that specific feeling of you had no idea 3 hours just passed. You know, like, and it's a cool feeling when it hits. Like I think the first time I ever had that experience was when me and a couple of friends from high school, we were in high school at the time. We went over to my buddy Caleb's house, and we were gonna just hang out. And I think there was a school event the next morning, and so we were just gonna stay the night at his place. But we stayed, and we were playing Dead Rising, the OG, and had no idea how much time was passing. We ended up staying up all night just playing Dead Rising and just handing the controller off to each other. I think we finished the game. It's kind of a blur, to be honest. I downed so much chocolate milk and goldfish crackers, dude. I was bricked up for a month, but it was well worth it. It was well worth it. That's one of those things, like we get, you know, goldfish crackers for my kids, because it's a classic. Of course you have to. But bro, that is one food I will go to hell and back for. It destroys me now. Bricked up, yeah, for real. Some people think bricked up is like a sexual phrasing. No, I mean it like literally you have a brick in your guts, because I don't know what chemical reaction it is, but specifically goldfish mixed with chocolate milk turns into concrete. And yet I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's so good. It is so good. If you have not gone full gamer degenerate mode and just grinded out a game for 5 hours straight, chugging chocolate milk and goldfish, you haven't lived. You have not lived, my friend. You need to try it. If I ever start a religion, that's going to be like communion for us. Okay. Like you're going to come in on Sunday mornings, and you have to eat 3 handfuls of goldfish and then chug a quart of chocolate milk. That's the key. That's the key. The weird thing, this is how you know I'm a real American though, okay? Confession time. I don't think this is controversial, okay? I think this is perfectly reasonable. When you go into the store, there are 2 types of chocolate milk usually. There's the generic store brand, right? And then there's a brand called True Moo. Okay? Chocolate milk, yes. True Moo. Okay? This is more expensive. You'd think that this was nicer, right? The generic is way better. Way better. Way better. I'm saying this as somebody who's lactose intolerant and found out after I did all of this. Okay. I was like, every time I drink a lot of milk, I feel terrible. Yeah, found out. Figured it out eventually. But yeah, the more expensive one is worse. The store brand is thicker. frothier, way better. Way better. Because I'm a firm believer, chocolate milk, it's got to be a little thick. If it's loose and the viscosity isn't correct, I'm out. I'm out. I'm a purist, really. Like people say, oh, how does a sommelier get to know wine very well? Where they smell it, they look at the consistency to determine, you know, the tannins or whatever, whether the wine has legs. That's me with chocolate milk, man. I don't mess around with chocolate milk. I don't mess around. I don't mess around. Tell you what. Fairlife or Get Out. Well, now we drink Fairlife because it's like the lactose free. I don't remember what the exact thing is. But yeah, we do Fairlife. It's very good.
Fairlife or Get Out.
Fairlife, yeah, Fairlife is good. Well, I think does Fairlife. I guess Fairlife does make chocolate milk now. Back in my day when we were buying this, I don't know if Fairlife even existed because I don't remember seeing it. I remember we started doing Fairlife like after COVID, after lockdowns when we had the boys, but I don't think they had it back, you know, circa 2014, 15. Like I don't remember it. But anyway, I don't actually drink. I would love to drink more milk. I would love it. I love milk and I love dairy products in general, but especially milk and yogurt. Dude, my idea of heaven is it is exclusively Go-Gurt. Go-Gurt or you go Gurt out, okay? Like Go-Gurts for life. I don't care what you think. Oh, Luke, it's basically plastic in a tube. I don't care. It's delicious. That and Danimals. Dude, Danimals were the height of luxury when I was growing up. Danimals. Dude, these things go so hard. I will chug these, but again, I'm very lactose intolerant. I'll have these, and for me specifically, dairy makes me break out. Like, it destroys my face. It causes horrible acne. It's bizarre, but dairy will just destroy my face. So all through like high school and college, I was having major struggles with acne. Come to find out, like once I cut out dairy, I had many fewer issues, which is crazy. Aren't those made for kids? That's just what they want you to think. But no, I mean, the problem is if you're an adult trying to drink Danimals, yeah, you're going to drink it and you're going to go through an entire case in one sitting. I've heard. I've never done that. But I would assume that's what would happen. But yeah, Danimals all day, every day, man. As an adult, I just get kefir. Yeah, kefir's really good. How did you spell it? It's like kefir. Yeah, kefir. No, it was specifically kefir. That's not. Is this like a musician boy band? Okay. Kefir yogurt drink. Yeah. This. Oh, it is just Kefir. Okay. Yeah, these are really, really good. These are really, really good. Really good probiotics. They'll fix you right up. That balanced out with goldfish and chocolate milk, you're probably just back to normal. Frankly, you're probably back to normal. TMI, Luke. Do I look like someone who cares? A man who just spent 10 minutes confessing his love of Danimals and Go-Gurt. Do you think I care what you think of me? No. It matters not. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that's the Danimals segment for the day. You gotta knock it out early, you know. Yokes, thank you for the sub over on Twitch. Shove a Hershey in your mouth and chug a pint of milk. God's best creation right there. Hell yeah. You know what else is good? I've only ever done this once because we only ever had like one coffee machine that would do it. But you get your big mug, chocolate bar, you run the espresso, dripping down onto the chocolate, melting the chocolate and infusing with the coffee. And then, you know what you do? You know what you do? Dollop of whipped cream. That's all you do. That's all you do. That's all you do. It will blow you away. It will blow you away. It's basically a quad or a campana. I'm not sure. Do you panya or is it pana? I don't know. But a campana is basically just espresso and then a dollop of whipped cream. It's freaking delicious. It's one of the only things I'll get at Starbucks if we go to Starbucks. Because I just generally don't really like Starbucks. But it's just espresso and that. But if you do it with the espresso dripping over chocolate, then it's like a chocolate oh, dude. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Eat a banana and then chug a Sprite. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I want to try that now. I drink regular coffee. I'm sure that's cheaper. I'm jealous of the people that can just go get like a McCafe, McCoffee, you know, and they're totally happy and fine and satisfied. I wish I was like that. It just doesn't do anything for me, you know? Listening to this raise my blood sugar. America, F yeah. Try a tablespoon of straight cinnamon. Do you remember when people were doing that, the cinnamon challenge, and they would just do a spoonful of powdered cinnamon on their tongue, and then they like inhale it. Then they have cinnamon powder in their lungs. Like people went to the hospital for that. Dude, the early 2010s YouTube challenges were insane. People would just catch. There was also a phase, do not do this, where people were taking buckets, like 5-gallon buckets, filling it with ice and water, and then salt. So they would lower the freezing point of the water. And then it was a challenge to see how long you could keep your hand in the water. And people are like getting frostbite from it. It was like actually insane. It's like, what are we doing? Yeah, the Tide Pod, all these things, dude. Like it was unhinged. Don't get me wrong. People still do it now with like TikTok and everything. It's not like, you know, those days are gone. They still do it, like, but I've noticed, at least in my boomer opinion, it seems like a lot of the TikTok challenges are just gross or like illegal. You know, it's not illegal to shove your hand in an ice bucket, but like I saw one of the trends from like a year and a half ago was that people were going around licking the top of ice cream containers in the supermarket and then putting it back in the freezer section. So somebody would buy it without knowing that they licked it and stuff. They started arresting people who did that. Like the police were like, you filmed yourself doing it. You're going to jail. Like, what did you think was going to happen? But it's like the brain cells have disappeared. It's insane. But anyway, every time I talk about TikTok trends, I realize I sound 90 years old. I'm like, can you believe what they're doing on the TikToks? It's insane. They deserve jail. I mean, yeah, which is why they went there. That's why they went there. But I think finally there's starting to be like a general approach where for a long time, a lot of people treated online content and discourse and events online as like separate from reality. Now people are realizing that there's enough crossover that if you're being a moron on TikTok, you might just be a moron. If you're committing illegal acts on TikTok, you're like, you go to jail. You know, like you got to just do it. Yeah, it's a biohazard. Literally. I mean, it's like insane that anybody would think that that was okay. But there are people who do that and then are like, okay, now I challenge John, Rob, and Rebecca. And then they all try it. It's just, there is no critical thought. It's amazing. It's quite shocking. It's quite shocking. Let's see. In Singapore, someone is on trial for currently for licking a straw and putting it back. Singapore does not F around with that stuff. Dude, I've heard Singapore is like hardcore with stuff. Like hardcore. They don't mess around. They're like, we want our cities and stuff to be extremely clean and tidy, and we want people to be well behaved. So like if you jaywalk, straight to jail. Straight to jail. Like, You eat at a restaurant and you make a mess and you don't clean it up, tickets, right to jail. Right to jail. You know? They do not mess around. They do not mess around. I was reading like a list of the things a while back of like crazy laws in different cities around the world. And I remember seeing like in Singapore, they had this huge list and I'm going through, I'm like, that sounds awesome. I wish that was not allowed where I am. And I'd like, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Okay. You can't Doing graffiti on public buildings, you go to jail, like permanently, like for years. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, don't graffiti buildings. Okay, I'm cool with that. But I realize that that would not go over too well here in the States. I will say it would clean up LA real quick. I'll tell you that much. Clean it up real quick. Can we get a channel of Just Luke's rants? Well, you see, this channel was supposed to be about video games, and then we end up talking about chocolate milk and goldfish the whole time. So this is just what happens. You play Concord. Yeah, straight to jail. Right away. Yeah, right away. Yeah, it's just madness. I think they call it the Johnny Somali law. Well, that's another example of somebody thinking that they can just go be a menace and that there's no recourse. And in the US, you can kind of do that and get away with it because we just don't. A lot of places here don't do anything. Like, you can be a literal menace and they won't do anything about it. But you try to go do that, and especially a lot of like Eastern countries, and bro, they don't mess around. They do not mess around. Tell you what. Yeah, you like Starfield, you go to jail. Yeah. Wasn't it San Fran they cleaned up super quick? They had a visit from Xi Jinping, and they cleaned up the city, the part of the city where he was located. And I'd always thought that those were just like Fox News, like outrage bait. You know, I always thought those stories of like, they have a poop map and it's the whole city is just covered in trash and garbage, and every like the drug addict problem is crazy. I always thought that was just exaggerated and not real. And then I went, and bro, it's unreal. Like, it is insane. Where you will be in like the fancy business park, you will cross a bridge, and then it's like you're in the third world. It's insanity. Like, it is crazy. Just absolutely outrageous. It's talking about Los Angeles. Well, LA too. I mean, what's interesting is I go to LA a number of times a year usually. I mean, you guys even saw in the recent, we just did a stream segment where I was at Pershing Square. Where is it? Was it? I think this?
Am chilling in Los Angeles actually at the moment. I walked on the block and I turned the corner, and I happened to stumble on something. I am in Pershing Square, which, if you recognize it, it's an iconic area in Los Angeles, but you may recognize it as a place that was also recreated for GTA 5. And this is the area specifically where like Michael smokes the doobie, I think it's Michael, and trips balls and thinks aliens are invading and like starts losing his mind. I walked the corner, I was like, those like kind of reddish orange buildings over there look vaguely familiar. And
so I was hanging out there. This is a fairly wealthy area. There's a lot of money in this area, at least. And they keep up on it. But I told the story in this clip towards the end of how just right before I started filming, I was around the corner on the other side of this wall, kind of pulling out my camera and stuff. And like a homeless guy walked up to me and asked me if I had toilet paper because he had been digging around in his butt. I realized it's because he had done business in his pants and he needed toilet paper. And I told him, I don't carry toilet paper with me when I casually travel around Los Angeles. I did not have toilet paper on me. He was perturbed by that and then wandered off and, you know, walked around this way and hung out in the bushes for a little while. I hope he found what he needed, but I wish him the best. But like, that's the LA experience, okay? That's just, you will go. I literally went from the airport here. I had like an hour and a half, 2 hours to kill before the 007 event. So I'm walking around, find Pershing Square. I'm like, I'll film something here. Sit down, start unpacking. So I stopped moving for maybe 5 minutes while I'm grabbing out my camera and all this stuff. And in that 5-minute window, I'm approached by a man covered in his own excrement asking for toilet paper. And like that's LA, man. That's LA. That's LA. Why no public toilets? Because they turn into drug dens and like squat areas where then like that individual would probably set up camp and live. So they just shut all that down. But what really frustrates me, like I've told you guys stories where I volunteered at soup kitchens. We have a homeless shelter here in northern Colorado that's been here for years. The original guy that ran it retired, but he gave control of it over to like a larger agency that does a really good job. And so it's still running after like 40, 50 years, however long it's been open. But I've done volunteering at these places. And what's been very clear to me is that like these people who often are on the streets are either just down on their luck or they need like serious help. Like they need actual medical, mental evaluation and help. But a lot of these cities in the States, man, they have this approach where if you were to take those people and like force them into a mental hospital or something, a psych ward to help them get treated and get them the medication they need to be able to function, that's seen as like draconian. Like they treat that as though that's unreasonable, when that's, I think, what they need. Like Eastern European, Northern European, well, just European countries in general, they don't have these massive problems anywhere near on this scale with homelessness and the mental illness epidemic and the drug addiction problem, because they like actually try to help those people. They don't just leave them on the streets to die. You know, it's so insane to me that that's seen as empathetic, to just leave somebody on the streets to the point where they're wandering around looking for toilet paper. Like, how is that empathetic? How is that helpful? That does not help anybody. You know, it's just insane to me that like everybody agrees there's a problem. Hopefully we all agree we should help these people. But the approach is like, well, no, if you were to force them off the streets and like take them to get help at a facility, that's not tolerant. I'm like, it's helping them, man. Like I just, it drives me crazy, man. It drives me crazy. Anyway. Racer, thank you for the bits and the chats over on Twitch. What I think the status of the Venom game is, it's my understanding it's still happening. So the voice actor for Miles Morales said that it was his understanding that after the voice actor who played Venom passed away, that they had canceled it. That is basically what he said. But then I believe it was Jason Schreier said on Reset Era that wasn't true. The voice actor might know, but might not. Probably recorded lines years ago, might have heard rumblings of what was happening, but not sure. But Jason talks to devs like regularly. And Jason, as far as I'm aware, has not been like, when he says conclusively something is or is not happening, I can't think of a time that he's been wrong demonstrably. So it's my understanding it's still happening. It's hard to replace Tony Todd. Well, it's hard, but it's the understanding of a lot of people that basically he had recorded his lines years ago. And he himself said before he passed that like 90% of the stuff he recorded wasn't used in Spider-Man 2. So they could still do it. And I'm sure he signed up to do it and agreed to do it. And so they'll frame it as like a love letter to him and his legacy. Similar to what they did with Kevin Conroy with Batman in Suicide Squad, where it's like his last performance. So I just, let's be honest. Do you really think the multi-billion-dollar corporation is going to like write off $200 million because somebody passed away? Like, and it's not like they have to, as far as I understand it, it's not like they have to recast it. Like he had done the work he needed to do. And so they have all the recordings and stuff. They just have to ship the game. It's just unfortunate he won't be here for the game shipping, but that didn't stop them with Suicide Squad. And I don't think it'll stop anybody with Venom. So I think it's still happening. That was far from a love letter in Suicide Squad. Yeah, that one was way, way worse because like they literally kill Batman, but not Batman. It's a clone, but okay, sure. As if that makes it better, you know. Suicide Squad was way worse. Whatever potential scandal they're worried about with Venom doing the game still, bro, they literally did it with Suicide Squad and then kill Batman. Like it was on a whole other level. So yeah, I would not, I don't think it's been canceled. I don't buy that. But yeah, anyway. Okay. So we should do this. Real quick, let me catch up on these and then we'll go. Where did they? I just want to find a list. Here it is. Okay. I got what I needed. Okay, real quick. Tony, happy to say my Crimson Desert has been restored. That is awesome, my friend. That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. That's fantastic. SK Under the Dome, thank you for the 5. You should check out the quick video Bethesda Actually Hates New Vegas by 990 Plays. It's pretty validating. That does sound interesting. You know me, I struggle to resist a video like that. Oh, dude, and my algorithm knows me so well. Let me show you this other video that just popped up on my feed. Okay. Look at this. In the 24 hours was that it's from Pure Arts, showcasing the 1/8 statue they just announced. Dude, that's pretty sexy. That's pretty schmexy, bro. Show me the big boy. Show me the big boy. I want to see the big boy.
What was the name of Edward's ship before he christened it the Jackdaw? What was the name of Edward's ship?
Does he focus on it? He might not.
Go. Some of you probably don't even have to look this up. El Dorado is correct.
I don't see it. Well, anyway, it's freaking awesome. It's 1/8 scale. It's gorgeous. I get it, Luke. You guys are supposed to try and talk me out of it. You're supposed to try and talk me out of it. Okay, fine. Real quick, guess. What do you think that costs? Real quick. No, is that the right one? I don't think that's the right one. This is it. Yes, this is it. Okay. What do you think this costs? 1/8 scale, you saw it. Is big, girthy, dare I say. What do you think this costs? It's like beautifully recreated, probably weighs 60 to 80 pounds. Massive and gorgeous. Oh my God. The answer is $900 dues. 900. Honestly, I would have thought more. That's a bargain. That's pretty good. Yeah, $900 dues. I do like myself. I do like myself some big old statues. You guys can see I've got the Titus behind me. This thing is huge. And I don't remember how much that was. Titus statue, Warhammer. Oh, I'm blanking on the guys that made it. I think it was Weta. Yeah, it was Weta. Yeah, 1,400. So that one behind me, they were very generous and gave it to me. But that statue, if I had to pay full price, would have been 1,400. Again, they were very generous, very sweet. They knew I liked Warhammer, and so they hooked me up with this monstrosity, and it is gorgeous. But yeah, this thing is huge. So that one being 900, I mean, he could use a little brother. I shouldn't, but bro, it's so freaking cool. Look at that thing. That's pretty fire. That's pretty fire. That looks no more than 300 plus 45 for shipping. I know you're baiting me. And everybody says it. Everybody says it about you. Who is Neo? Everybody says it. Everybody says, who is Neo? He's the best baiter. Like, he is one of the best. And I know that about you. And I know that you're baiting me. You do it masterfully. But I am biting. Okay. You may be a masturbator. I don't bite a masturbator. Okay. I don't. Because I can see for myself that this looks really, really, really good. Yeah, he's a master of his craft. And he's tossing, he's trying to put the ball in my court. He's a masturbator that's tossing balls. And he expects me to just come in and lap it up. But I'm not going to do that. You won't get to me. My mom is in the other room. I'll leave it there. Anyway, that is freaking gorgeous and mighty tempting. I'm going to be real. Oh, I'm wrong. This is the quarter scale. So the 1/8 scale is half the size. That's the one that's like 300 to 400. This is the big one he had on the desk. That's quarter scale. Okay. There you go. Anyway. Okay. Let's talk about stuff. I pulled up that video, SK Under the Dome. Thank you for that one. We can check it out. Appreciate you. I'm Adex. Thank you for the 20. Again, very generous. Fairlife or Get Out. Well, with that $20 super chat, I can afford lots of Fairlife, my friend. Thank you. Shafay, thank you for the 2. Guilty pleasure, 7-Eleven iced coffee. Hell yeah. I've actually had 7-Eleven iced coffee. It was way better than I thought it would be. Mr. Mo, thank you for the 5. Did you ever see 50 Cent's ALS Ice Bucket Challenge to Floyd Mayweather peak internet? Yeah, and then he like chucks it and says that he's going to donate. I don't remember how much. It was like $500,000 or something crazy. If Floyd could read a page of Harry Potter, I think is what it was. So if you could read one page of Harry Potter live, I'll donate the money. I don't think he ever did. I don't think Floyd can actually read. Because correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he ever did that. So yeah, it was quite classic. Mr. ZS25, thank you for the 13 months. Ooh, baby. Hey, Luke, hope all is well. I've been enjoying Affiliate quite a bit, and I agree. The music and skyboxes are amazing, but I'm taking my time with it. Yeah, dude, they put a lot of care and effort into it. They really, really did. Of course, it's far from a perfect game. There's lots of stuff that I would change and improve, but it's clear that there's plenty of areas where they put a lot of love into it. Walt the Great, thank you for the super chat. As someone living in a quite dysfunctional country, it shocks me the amount of stuff people seem to get away with in the US. From what I've seen, the drug addicts don't seem to want help either. Well, some do, and they just don't have the means to. Like, that's the thing is, if you're on the streets, living on the streets, you've lost your job, you've disconnected from your family, or maybe you don't have a family, you don't have money. Like, how do you dig yourself out of that pit? Like, everybody in that situation is going to need a handout. Not hand out like that. I mean, like, hand to help them out of the pit. And that's what I would like to be able to do and have like full programs. There's a lot of programs from like churches and nonprofits that do really good work with outreach and to help people in those situations. But the fact that our governmental policy tends to just be to leave it or just shoo them into an area of the city where there's not a lot of money or important people, which is LA's general approach. It's like, just get them away from the famous people, put them with like everybody else, and then we're fine. Forget about it, which is just gross to me. Let's see. The Ripster, thank you for that super chat. Hi, Luke. Hope you're doing well. Heard a rumor Black Flag Resynced won't have Hidden Blade combat. Don't know if it's either confirmed or not. Any thoughts or concerns, if true? No, I mentioned it, I believe, in my preview as well. Paul had mentioned that the Hidden Blade is now integrated into combat in the form of finishers. But there's not like a specific loadout for using just hidden blades for fighting. I'm interested in finding out more. If I get the chance to talk to Paul again, I'd like to ask, like, what was the original design choice behind that? Was it like it wasn't working with the animations? Was it like, what made you decide that? I got the impression that it was a desire to keep the hidden blade to be like a specialty weapon. Like, they didn't want it to just feel like these are sacred things that you have and that you're using, and that they're used specifically for the final blow. They're used specifically for the kill. they're not meant to be beaten up like just a common sword, you know. That's the impression I got when they were describing it. But obviously I understand why some people might be frustrated, you know. I'm not particularly worried about it. I understand some people are purists and would really like it. I'm not worried about it. If the rest of the combat feels good to play, I think it won't be that big of a deal. So I'm not worried about it, but I understand why some people might be. Let's see. It's going to read that in just a second.
At genuinebacon_9616 donated $20 through Super Chat. Hey Luke, I was curious if you knew anything about the new Cyberpunk project. I've heard rumors about it being in pre-production and even story stuff like playing as a cop. Have you
heard anything? Also big fan. Thank you, my friend. Very generous of you. Much love. Thank you for being here. So I've heard rumblings. We did a video, I think late last year, on the state of Cyberpunk 2 or whatever they ended up calling it, based on what we knew at the time. So it's possible there's more stuff now that I'm just not aware of, since I haven't dug into it really since then. But they are working on it. It's they created a new studio that is based in the US, I believe in Boston, that is heading it up. So previously, like, Poland has been the center of operations for everything for CDPR. After Cyberpunk, they expanded, they did a bunch of stuff, but now basically the US based team is going to be heading up Cyberpunk, and the Poland based team is going to be heading up the Witcher trilogy, that of course is going to be coming first. As for specific story stuff, I haven't heard anything that I would consider reliable on that front. But as for other elements, it is expected to be, how do I say this? Everything that people saw in those initial trailers that people really wanted that didn't end up making it, it seems like this project is being built from the ground up to try and be the fulfillment of all of those desires and promises and hopes and dreams and everything. Okay. So it's my understanding that this is like the ultimate make good game of being like, here is the full thing. Here is the vision. Similar to a lot of other games where the first game kind of lays the bedrock and then the second game comes on and like builds upon it. That I think is what they're going to do there. As for specific stuff though, I'm not personally familiar. At least I've heard people say stuff, but it just seems like people saying stuff. So nothing I would consider to be like possible, you know, but yeah, it looks like it's coming along. I think it's technically in pre-production is the definition of where it's at now. I don't think it's entered like full production. It probably will kickstart into that in the next year and a half, I would guess. I do know they are hiring like crazy. So they are hiring a ton of people. A lot of money and manpower is going to go into that game. Yeah. Similar to what KCD 2 was for Warhorse. Exactly. Like I think KCD 1, if you compare it to Cyberpunk 2077, the goal with the second game is to just do everything the first game did well after the updates and improvements. So use that as a starting point and then expand from there and just go crazy. I think that's the ultimate vision. Whether like as for specifics of like exactly what they're doing with scope or scale or protagonist or any of that stuff, we just don't know. But time will tell. My question is, do you think they're going to try to get Keanu back? Do you think they're going to have some sort of story thing where they find a way to duplicate his being and entity and get him in the second game? I don't know. Imagine if Keanu walks out on stage at the Game Awards and it's like, we have something special to show you. And it's a trailer for that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Detective Seeds. Poggers, my friend. Jesus Christ. Hope everyone had a great week. And you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, my friend. That's incredibly generous. 20 memberships gifted to the community. That gets 3 booms. Boom. 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 There it is. There it is. Thank you, my friend. Much love. And if you just got gifted a membership from Detective Seeds, incredibly generous. Connect your YouTube account to your Discord account. You will get access to our member-only Discord, okay? If it doesn't still connect, you can send an email to us, and me and my team, if you include a screenshot proving you're a member, we'll get you in the Discord, okay? Usually the connection works like 95% of the time, but if it doesn't, just send us an email. We can do it. But anyway, much love, Detective Seeds. Good to see you, my friend, and hopefully you have been having a good week too. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling, man. Jesus Christ. That is crazy. That is crazy. And yeah, welcome everybody who just got a membership. That's fantastic. That's very, very, very generous of you. Oh, and Chuggaland just gave 5 more to round it out. Welcome everybody who just got it. If you're listening, if you're a lurker, double check the stream real quick. See if you got a membership. You might have. And if you did, say thank you to the one who gave you the gift for sure. Spread some love, share some love. Spread it like butter on toast. Spread that love. Spread it wide. Spread it wide now. Come on now. Listen here. Look here. Listen. Real quick, just to catch up on these real quick before they get buried. Tandem C? No, Tank Dempsey. I need new glasses. Tank Dempsey, thank you for the 2. Do you think Phantom Blade Zero will compete with Neo 3? No, I think they're going to be very different. They're going to play very differently. Phantom Blade Zero, I think, is the sleeper this year. I don't think people realize that one's going to be big. That one's going to be big. Because I've played it on multiple occasions, and it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. So I would just keep my eye out for that one. But I don't think it's going to play like Neo 3. They're very different games. Not in a bad way, just they're very different. Let's see. Okay, I read that one. Trev, thank you for that 5 right before this. I bought Starfield for the first time just so I could mod it with the Star Wars Genesis mod. So far, I'm in love with it. Yeah, dude, that Star Wars Genesis mod is crazy. They do not mess around with that. Like, they do not mess around with it. It's crazy ambitious, but very, very well done. I'm glad to hear they got it working after the updates, because usually they change it up. Is Phantom Blade as difficult as it's rumored? It can be. What I will say is, based on my experience with Phantom Blade Zero, and then we're going to get into this review discussion. Based on my experience, things like weapon selection matter a lot. There are certain weapons in Phantom Blade that work really well against certain bosses, and others that do not work anywhere near as well. So I think like challenge runs where you use just one weapon through the whole game are going to be a big deal, because yeah, there were specific bosses with specific abilities that were hard countered by certain weapons and stuff. So I think it's going to be one of those games where they encourage you to constantly change it up and constantly shake it up with different weapons, different approaches and stuff like that, which is good because they're constantly giving you stuff to try and change around. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating. The Boost, thank you, my friend. Thank you for the 5. Became a member yesterday and still not added to the Discord. Already connected in my accounts. Is there something else I need to do? Much love. No, it should work in theory. So if it still hasn't connected you, just send an email. You can see it in my link tree, linked in the description box of the videos and everything. Send an email to me and my team and we can get you brute force to the way in. Just again, include a screenshot proving you're a member so that my team knows that you're a member and they'll just brute force you in. Okay. We got you. What are your thoughts on retro games being so expensive, and why do you think more people are going back to previous generations? I think it's something happening across entertainment just in general, is that people are craving nostalgia, you know, the simpler times. I remember. It happens all the time. But it seems particularly pronounced right now, which is why remakes are so popular and successful. As for why they're so expensive, it's because they can charge it. Let's just say there are other methods of playing older games, I've heard. You know, there might be a way to hypothetically get access to older games through a certain technique, you know. But there's a lot of people who don't know how to do that or are not comfortable with that, and so, you know, they just don't mess with it. And so the only alternative at that point to figure it out and to re-experience that game is to go and spend a bunch of money with Nintendo, or go buy the re-release for $60 or whatever. You know, there's not many other options for those people. So while there are options that are less expensive to preserve those experiences, a lot of people are uncomfortable or don't know how to do that, which is understandable. And so they just look for, you know, the path of least resistance, which is usually just popping onto the store and buying it for full price. And because those companies know that they can do that, you know, they'll charge $60 for it, even though it released 20 years ago, because they know that the nostalgia is worth it. To feel like a kid again is worth it. You know, that's what, that's just how it is. That's how it is. But I encourage people to look into, you know, whatever fits their situation. I think remakes and remasters are solid because they can, often there's things with older games that make them either less playable or downright unplayable on modern hardware. There's a number of old games that just don't really work on modern hardware, or they do work, but it requires so freaking much like tweaking, or you have to already exactly understand the controls. Like OG Witcher. The first Witcher game, bro, is, I know some people love it. Okay, the story's great, writing's great, all that's great. But bro, playing that game is like pulling teeth sometimes. It's just unintuitive. The controls suck. It's just a product of its time. And even CDPR jokes that, yeah, we didn't know how to make a video game when we made that game. Like we had no idea what we were doing. So like that's a game I think that would really benefit from a remake, where they can take the best parts of it, like the story, world building, all that, and then they can put it in a wrapper and a scheme, a blueprint that is more approachable and enjoyable for modern audiences. You know, I think that's the where I'm okay with remakes. Where I'm not, like, where I'm frustrated with remakes is when the game is like 4 years old and like, we remade it. Like, what are we doing? It didn't really need it. There are some games that need a remake, others that don't, you know, and I think Witcher 1 is a great example of one that really benefits from it. And also like Black Flag Resynced, I think is going to be another one that will really benefit from the rebuild, because I went back and I was playing the OG version, and bro, it is a game from 2013 through and through, for better or worse. It is a game from 2013, and it shows. When is it coming? We don't know exactly. It's probably late 20s would be my guess. I think it's probably after The Witcher 4. It's my guess. But the team doing it, Fool's Theory, they're not that big. So it's a big project to rebuild that. And I would not assume that they're going to throw it together in 2 years or 3 years. I think it's probably going to take a while. But yeah, can we get a Highguard remake? Oh. Whoa. Just pre-ordered 007, says Nate. I'm quite excited for it, though the combat looks a bit janky. I will tell you, it was really good. It was really good. I was really impressed by it. It's really, really good. It's really good. Limits Breaker, thank you for that too. Happy Friday, everybody. And Fergus, blessings to all. Yes, Fergus, our God King who stands guard over the YouTube play button. He is always watching, always watching. He is indeed. And then Tim Vine, thank you for the membership, my friend. Glad to have you. Okay, let's do this. You guys want to talk about something stupid? You want to talk about something stupid? Witcher, if you're having problems, especially if you sent an email a week ago, send another one. It probably got buried. Our inbox gets like 200 to 300 emails a day. So it's probable that it just kind of got buried. So don't be afraid to just send a follow-up. Okay. Of course we do, says Destin. You're damn right. I gotta wonder, Destin. I gotta wonder. Is this extra fun for you? Because you used to work at IGN. Like you used to be one of these guys, and now you're on the outside and you're like, it's gotta be kind of cathartic. You know, it's got to be kind of fun. It's like, you know, I used to work at Best Buy. And so when I hear a story about like a Best Buy scandal or drama, I'm always like, you know, it's got to feel kind of fun, you know, extra fun. But what are we talking about today? Let me tell you what, okay? Okay. As we all know, Sorrows just dropped. It reviewed very, very well. The game is really, really good. Really, really good. But of course, IGN had to come out swinging with a 7 out of 10 because they're IGN. LOL. The memes write themselves. You can see like there were a bunch of outlets that gave it 10s, 9.5s, 9s, even 8.5s, but IGN came in at a 7. And this kickstarted another round of drama naturally, as always happens. And there's even been some memeing done by some people notable to the game, such as Raul himself, who, of course, is the likeness and actor behind Arjun in the game. He went on Alana Pierce's stream, or a video, I think it was a stream, and was wearing the IGN 7 out of 10 shirt, which is a little funny, kind of poking the bear a little bit. And this, to understand like the broader context, okay, IGN has been getting clowned on for review scores for a long time. Okay, the meme is always 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, too much water, or too much cheese, like the Mouse PI for Hire review. That Mouse PI for Hire review got so universally clowned on that, I mean, even Moist Critical did a video on it that does millions of views. We did just an off-the-cuff stream segment that did like over 250,000, which is insane, just talking about, like, people are very, very perturbed by IGN's approach to these things. And I think it's compounded by the fact that they pretty consistently, as an outlet, when you review something, you're effectively like sort of picking winners and losers. Like you're picking, this game is really good, this game is really bad. And when you have a platform like IGN does, one of the biggest just websites in all of gaming, their YouTube channel alone has almost 20 million subs. Not to mention, you know, they have IGN, like France or Spain or whatever, IGN Japan, like they have all different branches of it. It's huge. Okay. So when the IGN gives a game a bad score, that can have, or at least in years past, that can have a pretty major impact on stuff. For example, when they reviewed Crimson Desert and gave it a poor score, that compounded with other scores from classical media outlets caused like the stock price of the company to plummet by 30%. Turns out people really like the game, and that stock price fully recovered and is on the way up even further now, and sold 5 million plus copies and has done very, very well. So it turns out they didn't really need IGN. But the point is, like, classical media outlets tend to just look back to other classical media outlets for guidance. And so you see like investors looking to it, and they put a lot of weight into it, which is why I would say IGN should be held to a higher standard than like YouTubers and streamers, not a lower one, even though everybody kind of holds them to a lower standard because the jokes are the jokes and the memes are the memes. You know, it's IGN. You can't spell ignorance without IGN, you know. And what's frustrated me in particular, because we can point to so many examples where they like hype up High Guard and they're saying people need to stop being so judgmental about High Guard and play it, and that you should play it before you say that it looks bad or looks mediocre or what have you. And then meanwhile, and they're suggesting that if a streamer or YouTuber is negative towards a game, that's unethical of them effectively, because that could mean people losing their jobs. That could mean people getting laid off because the game underperforms, and all this acting holier than thou that they talk up and hype up a game like a High Guard or a Concord or whatever it is. And then they come out swinging and giving like Mouse PI for Hire a 6 out of 10. You know, they give it a score which everybody else understands to be bad, in a way that directly punishes, in my opinion, in a reckless way, like an indie studio, in a way that isn't quite fair. So this has kickstarted a whole debate and discussion. What is interesting is that Mitchell Saltzman, who is the senior producer and does guides at IGN, so somebody within the organization, tweeted out this, genuinely asking, what can we do to make it even more, or make it even more explicitly clear what a 7 means on our scale? Because you can see, I think IGN sees a 7 as it's not a bad game, but it's not great either, just calling it average/mediocre. Compared to what they put on their videos where they say 7 out of 10, it's good. Here's what I'm going to say, okay? Because the meme is 7 out of 10 is what IGN does, both to like sit on the fence, to not say it's bad, not say it's good, just 7 out of 10, you can't be mad at us, you know? That's kind of the meme. And then the other meme is that they'll hype up like bad games, and then they'll badmouth good games, because, you know, insert game journalist meme here, game journalist bad at games, stuck on Cuphead tutorial, blah, 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 like all the memes we all know about. From my perspective, with this stuff, you are trying to toe a line between what the audience is going to understand your review score to mean and what you mean, right? It's not, as far as I'm concerned, like a reviewer's job is to explain what's good, what's bad about the game, to evaluate it based on their subjective opinion, and then go and put it in a wrapper that the audience can consume and understand. I don't do review score numbers because I have found that almost every single time it creates more headaches than it's worth. It leads to more misunderstanding than it's worth. So instead, I just describe what I think of the game, break it down, and I'll use words to explain what I think of it. I think this is a masterpiece. I think this game is really good, but it's got some major problems that I think need to be fixed through patches, and then it'll be really phenomenal and amazing. You know, or this game is absolute dog water horse trash, and I hate it. You know, I'll describe it, but I'm not going to just put a number on it, even though that might be like what has traditionally happened. And the reason is because across the globe, especially as games media has grown more international, there are different expectations and understandings of these numbers and what they mean. So what seems to be the case in US markets is that people look at the number scale 1 through 10 effectively the same way they look at like school grading systems. Okay. So if we have, just in case you're not from the US, if you're from the US, you're like, no, duh, Luke, but there's people, shocker, not from the US who watch these streams and might not understand how our grading system works. For us, a perfect score equates to basically an A+, right? This would be like a 10 out of 10. So you get a perfect score, you get an A+. 9 is where like A breaks. So this would be 9. 8 is where you cross into the B section. 7 is C, D is 6, and then literally anything below that is an F or a failing grade. Okay, so anything below 6 is a failing grade. What IGN has done is that they'll put like a 7 and say that that's good. But to American audiences, a 7 or a 70 out of 100 is a C. You know, it's a C's get degrees. C's is considered in most American schools to be like average. So when there's a grading scale applied to scores, like when I was in college, they did this. They would take all the scores, they would grade it on a curve to make the average score a 70. And so you could theoretically score above, you know, a perfect 10 if they did that. But it could also end up pulling your grade up from like what would have been a failing grade up to a C because they grade on a scale for the whole class. But effectively, the point is that like a C is for most people not considered good. It's considered passing. Like it's considered average, good enough, you know? But IGN describes it as good. So they give a game a score of a 7 out of 10 and then they are like shocked that people's reactions are negative. For example, if we pull up their full grading scale, they actually have a dedicated page. I don't know if you do this, but they have an entire page on their reviewing scale. So a 10 is considered a masterpiece. 10 is considered a masterpiece. 9 is considered amazing. 8 is great. 7 is good. 6 is okay. And then 5 is mediocre. 4 is bad. 3 is awful. 2 is painful. 1 is unbearable. Okay? My problem with this scale, and the reason why I think number scales just end up being kind of stupid, is because to the layman, anything below a 7 is roundly considered to be just bad. Full stop, capital B, bad. Even if you meant it's okay. That's not what the average person's perception of that score is. And this is where it's why the number scale just gets so stupid, is because to different people in different countries, that score might mean one thing or another. Like we've had people in chat say, well, actually where I am from, I would expect 5 to be average because it's in the middle. So 5 is average, dead center of the middle. 10 is absolutely exceptional. 1 is absolutely exceptionally terrible, you know? But depending on where you're from and your expectations and your understanding of all these things, your interpretation of that score is going to be different, which means that as a method of communicating to your audience the quality of a game, it's just a bad tool to do that. And the fact that there's so much disdain and gnashing of teeth surrounding these review scores, I think that's proof positive that giving a game a number score is not effective in communicating the value of a game. If they say that Mouse PI for Hire is a 6 out of 10. They mean it's okay, which to most people would be like a C. But a 6 out of 10 is a D. You know, that's in American schooling grading, that's a bad score. That is, you're getting called in and you're sitting down with the principal and your parents. You know, you're getting to talking to because you got to step it up. You're not getting to college with that. That's not okay. You know, a 6 out of 10 in school is not okay. That's a problem. That's a big problem. So people go into it with this baggage and expectation of this. And from my point of view, like there's been some interesting takes on this with all these. So like, where is it? Khalif posted a couple of messages discussing this. So like Bobby initially replied, I don't agree. If you know your target audience interprets a 7 as barely passed because of cultural influences, such as American schools mainly, then you need to meet them where they are at and come up with a different paradigm. Otherwise, it's a failure of the communicator, which is kind of where I'm at. Khalif says, if I tell you a 7 is good, which describes something as positive, and you interpret that as a negative, that isn't on the communicator. That is on the person processing the information incorrectly or through a negative biased prism. At some point, you either want to believe that person or you don't know what words mean. This response isn't a dunk on the take either way. And also said, to be fair, everything you need to know is both in the graphic score and especially in the written reviews. The audience is going to have to meet you at least halfway to understand what a 7 is. And most times, once people have made up their own mind, they come to a reviewer for validation, then wind up mad when it doesn't meet it. IGN has clearly stated their rubric, and the audience just doesn't like that rubric and forgets that multiple reviewers also are coming to the content from different angles. From my point of view, again, like the point of a review is to communicate to the audience, which it sounds like we agree on, communicate to the audience what the reviewer's perspective is on the game. But for me, my approach, just I guess editorially, has been that perception and reality are two kind of distinct things. And whether you like it or not, you got to deal with the perceived reality because that's what people are making decisions and concluding based on. So if everybody's interpretation of an IGN 6 out of 10 review is that their interpretation is that IGN is giving it a bad score, that's what you're dealing with. Even if you're like, no, that actually, according to my rubric, is a good game or a fine game, an okay game. Even if you have to correct it, the fact that you have to go in and try to correct it and play catch up shows that wasn't an effectively communicated point. And whether that's fair because the audience has biases or what, I think just it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Whatever the reason is for people misunderstanding what you were trying to communicate, as the communicator, especially that has a massive platform, you need to take it upon yourself to be like, why are people misunderstanding what I'm trying to tell them about the game? Why are they misunderstanding that? Maybe it's the scoring system. And even though we do have it written out, do you really think the average person out there that's dunking on IGN is going to go search up what their exact rubric is to determine what the definition of their... No. If I was on the editorial staff of IGN, I would be adjusting the rubric to be more in line with what people interpret the rubric is already meaning, which is that if you give a game a number score, because this is the other piece of it too, these aggregators get tossed in specifically, like we saw here with everybody else. Games Radar could have a different rubric than Gaming Bolt, than Game Spew, which is a hilarious name, than VGC. You know, and then some of these guys are also doing a 5-star system. Some maniacs are doing a 4-star system instead of a 1 out of 10 score. And so Metacritic has to go and convert that, which causes all sorts of problems because a game can receive like 3 out of 5 stars, which people would understand to be like, it's good. Not great, but not amazing, but it's good. But when you convert that to an out of 10 scale, it goes to 6 out of 10, which most people interpret to be bad, or subpar, you know, sub-average. And so I think that's just, at the end of the day, the number is what people are looking at. And they're interpreting that number based on, yes, their biases, yes, preconceived notions of what those scores mean, influenced by their education, by schools, what have you. But that's what you're dealing with. Like, you can complain that that's how people interpret it, but that's what people are doing. That's how it's interpreted. So when people see a 7 out of 10, they are thinking this is just average. They aren't interpreting this based on the rubric. Okay, so 7, let me check the spreadsheet. Okay, it's good. So time well spent. Could it be better? Absolutely. Maybe lacks ambition. Few technical bumps along the road. Too repetitive, but we came away from it happy. Okay, yeah, so that sounds like Saros. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. They're just saying a 7, which for a lot of people, especially in the US, they're going through the filter of 7 out of 10. That's a C. C is just like passing, which is anybody going to say Saros is just passing? Like, no, it's at the very least pretty damn good, which the reviewer, I think, would agree with, which is why they gave it. My point is the grading rubric is skewed down further than it should be, because to most people, anything from here on down is really bad. And honestly, does anybody care about a distinction between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Like, I think maybe you say 1 is for games that just don't boot. You know, it's literally a broken game. You can't play it. I think, but beyond that, what takes something from a 1 to a 2? What takes something from a 2 to a 3? Does anybody care? I don't think so. Like, and this is just, again, why the grading system is stupid in general. Like the 1 out of 10 grading system is just kind of dumb, but it's because it's built around, at least in American schools, it's built around core competency. In order to pass, they don't want you to get half the questions right on a quiz on a given subject to be passing. To pass and demonstrate you have an understanding of it, you need to get a good majority of the questions right. Say 7 out of 10. You can miss a few here and there, but you need to get the majority right, you know? And then if you're taking another quiz and you want to be truly exceptional, you've got to get every question right. Love it or hate it, that's the expectation people have. So this has, of course, kickstarted the debate further. Mitchell followed it up. This sparked some good discussion that I enjoyed reading on top of a bunch of attacks out of nowhere. LOL. I wish we had a good answer. I hear what people are saying, though, about the school system training us to think 7 equals C, which equals average, which I thought was understood and expected. But that, I think, is where a lot of IGN's problems come from. I think, honestly, if they just skewed this whole scale up by a point, so 7 becomes okay, 8 becomes good, 9 becomes great / amazing, because I mean, great and amazing are close enough. You can even like kind of squish these where, 8 becomes good, which is, I think, again, what most people expect it to be. Or it's like anywhere from 75 to 80 becomes good, and then 80 to 90 is great, 90 to 95 is amazing, 95 plus is masterpiece level. That works, but again, my general approach would be like just get rid of the number scoring system, because I think it does way more harm than good, honestly. We've seen so many stories of companies that have like bonuses tied to Metacritic scores, and you'll play a game and you see somebody like with Crimson Desert, that one group that gave it a 4 out of 10, like, or 4.5 out of 10. The idea that you're going to play Crimson Desert, and even if you like don't connect with the open world, even if you don't connect with like boss fights or something, to give that a 4 out of 10 is insane. Like, that's insane. That's at the point where I don't think you're engaging in good faith, and I am permanently ignoring your opinion. Okay, like, it's just, I'm not dealing. I think you're trying to farm outrage clicks. You know, I'm not taking you seriously. What I will say is that this behavior we've seen over the last, I think, 6 months especially, but it's been going on for a couple of years as well. There seems to be a broader distrust of games media that has grown more severe in recent years, which is why I think you've seen lashing out a good number of times, where you'll see like people from these media outlets that get very impassioned because they're raging against a YouTuber or a streamer that called them out or said their review sucked or something. And it's as my brother Jacob put it, it kind of comes off as like the death throes, the death rattle of a dying media. But I don't think it should die. I think it's important to have a healthy games industry media. I think it's important to have an institutional media paired with the independent media. I think that balance keeps everybody accountable. It shouldn't be a total free-for-all. I think there should be true games journalists that are doing game journalism, that that are secure in their jobs and are able to do investigative reporting and to have those connections with the upper echelons of the corporate management structure and stuff. Things that, you know, smaller independent YouTubers and streamers wouldn't have access to. I think that that is healthy for the industry. They should be held to a higher standard, and they should deliver a higher standard of content and of coverage. The problem is most people, and the reason why I think these outlets have seen a broader drop in their trust with their audiences, they've seen their audiences plummet. The volume of people going to them for games coverage has plummeted versus coverage for standard or for typical games with streamers and YouTubers and TikTokers and stuff. The reason all of that's happening is because of their actions. It's because of the product that they've been putting out being lackluster and mediocre, and their standards being comparably lower than even independent media. And we pointed out numerous times, there's a bunch of examples we could look at, whether it's the Star Wars Outlaws capture footage where they were capturing footage in such poor quality that people thought it was the game, and it turns out it was just IGN's crappy capture. Similarly, there were other things with like Arc Raiders where they're doing coverage of this like fairly independent, even though Embark wasn't really truly an indie studio, but you get what I mean? Like they're a smaller team. They're not EA or something, and they're coming out with their own extraction shooter, and they give out this preview from like a contracted writer who has like captured all of the footage on a potato, and the quality is abysmal to the point where if one of my team members brought me that video and said, hey, should we post this? I would be seriously considering whether they should be employed anymore, because the quality was so poor that it would be, I couldn't even fathom thinking that that was passable. But they've done this stuff for years where they put out laughably poor quality products, and then they're frustrated that people don't take them seriously. It's because if you want to be taken seriously nowadays, there's a lot more competition. You got to raise your standards. You got to be more competitive, and they just haven't gotten more competitive. Their quality has, at the very least, plateaued. I would argue it's potentially even dropped, because they've even lost a lot of talent that they used to have. People that used to work at IGN have left and go and work independently. It's an antiquated model, and they don't really have an answer for it. So it's a fascinating discussion. I think the discourse around IGN specifically, they've absorbed a lot of the frustration people have had with broader games media because they're the biggest, and that's just going to happen. But I think the reason why you're seeing all this discourse is because it's just been a broader frustration that a big outlet like IGN that has lower standards than they should has outsized influence on the industry. And it's just stupid that that's how it works. And they should hold themselves to a higher account. They should, I'm glad that like Mitchell is reaching out, trying to understand why people are having this reaction, why people look at a review from IGN and laugh and scoff and mock it. I think that's good. I hope they actually act on it. And I think the first step would be to rework the grading rubric in a more constructive way that aligns closer with what your audience actually interprets it as. Yes, you can put a subheader on it. Yes, you can have a rubric posted on your website. But if everybody's interpretation of your score is X, even though you meant Y, that's a problem. And you got to figure out how to deal with that. So anyway, we'll leave it there. Got to stop talking about IGN or I'll get lightheaded. Players Archive, thank you for the 8-month resub. Hey, look, one game I'm excited for, or I think he meant Luke. Hey, Luke, one game I'm excited for is Blood of Dawnwalker. What are your thoughts? And I hope IGN doesn't give them a 9, because that would mean it's actually bad. I think it's looking really, really good. I am worried about performance because those system requirements were beefy. They were mighty beefy. So I'm hopeful that they can refine it and polish it up, because it looked pretty rough compared to what I would expect it to run at, given its like graphical fidelity. But time will tell. But overall, I think it looks really, really good. In terms of a game, yeah, I'm here for it. Okay, real quick, let me catch up on these, and then we'll go to our next thing. Okay, let me catch up on these. Where did it go? Okay, read that one. Kyle, thank you for the membership. Arch, thank you for the, or Arc? No, Archer, I think it is. Thank you for that super chat. I need some personal advice. How do you know if your wife was the right one for you? Did you ever doubt it? What should I do? I know it ain't gaming related. Oh, you're fine, my friend. You're fine. I think at the end of the day, there's not really a clean answer to this. For me, it came down to a gut feeling where you're just like, this is my partner. This is who I'm ready to go through life with. For me and my wife, she had a travel like study abroad thing in London where she went off for like 2 weeks. Like we had been dating for maybe 2.5, 3 years at that point. And so she went off, did a study abroad where we were like physically separated for an extended period of time. Actually, I think it was more like a month. It was a long time. It was a long time. I was like, 2 weeks wasn't that long. It was a long time. It was like three to 4 weeks, I think. And so it gave physical distance, and we would, check in with each other once, a day, because the time made it difficult. The time change, but that period of time made something very clear to me, which was just like I could live life without her, but I didn't want to. Like I could function single again. Yeah, I could do it, but I didn't want to. And that was the moment where I was like, oh, okay, no, because this is my partner. This is my partner in life that makes my life better and elevates it. And I'd like to think I can make her life better as well. And it made everything kind of click into place. Careful, Luke. Yeah. I could easily just leave right now. No, what I'm saying is like, it just became clear that, I think if your relationship is one where like you cannot spend time apart, that's probably not healthy. I've got some friends where, they started dating and they've not spent like more than 20 hours apart, since, in years. And I don't know if that's the healthiest. Like we can function independently. We are our own people. But for us, it was just clear that we wanted to go through life as a partnership, and that's part of what helped solidify it. So, but it comes down ultimately to just a gut feeling of what feels right to you. And, lots of talks. Don't be afraid to have those conversations. I've been married twice. It ain't hard. Just give it a try. See what happens. You can always try again, That's crazy. That's terrible. Okay, let's see. Where did I leave? Kyle, thank you for that 5. Hey, Luke, can you pass this note to Destin? You're my favorite YouTuber, XOXO. Sure. Destin, Kyle wants you to know that you're his favorite YouTuber. XOXO. Sorry. Heart emoji. XOXO. There you go. And banned. Nate, thank you for that super chat. Hi, Luke. Is 007 a 5 out of 10? Too many British people. And next, GTA 6, 7 out of 10. Too many booby physics. Just finished Pragmata. Not going to lie. I cried. Back to Crimson. Yeah, that's fair. As for 007, yeah, carrying on the same meme as before. There was the joke where somebody was like, I love Expedition 33. My only problem is that I don't know, man. It makes me really wish French people were real. It's just, they do a good job of really painting the picture. I just wish they were real. Carry on that. It's like, yeah, we do the review of 007, glowing. It's a fantastic game. The only downside with 007 is that it humanizes British people to the point where I actually started to think of them as normal people. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. We can't be having that. They didn't say Cheerio even once in the entire game. How am I? This is not a faithful depiction. Not a faithful depiction. Yeah. Too bad French isn't real. I know it really is too bad. I wish it were. I wish baguettes were real too. I wish that was a real kind of bread. Village Flower, thank you for that 5. Maybe IGN should use a letter score, A-, A, B+, B, B-. The gap between numbers feels too big. Letters allow for more nuance. Yeah, well, I understand that they want... The number score is part of what allows them to go viral, and the number score generates a lot of attention, which is why all of these outlets do it. It's kind of the standard. My point is that the scale they're using is wrong, or not wrong, because it's subjective, but the scale they're using is different than how their audience interprets it. And yes, there's 2 ways of looking at it. You can be like, well, we put out the rubric, we say what we mean with our rubric when we score it, so it's the audience's problem for not understanding it. My point of view is, whether like whatever the reason is for them not understanding it, whether it's they're being lazy or they're being hateful towards IGN, they come in wanting to hate IGN's review, whatever the explanation is, it doesn't matter. If your job is to communicate how good a game is or how bad it is to your audience, if your audience is regularly misunderstanding what you're trying to say, you need to do something different. Because clearly the rubric ain't enough. You know, it's just not. So you gotta figure it out. You gotta change it up. You know, that's what I'm saying. Jack, thank you for that 5. Trust me, as a Brit, we are far from normal. Also, have you spoke about the Xbox showcase yet? And Bethesda being there. Sorry, I'm late to the stream. Yeah, see, I want to respond to this message, but again, it makes it sound like British people are real. Can you? I don't know, man. As for I do want to ask Jack, do British people actually eat that like steamed eels and parsley sauce? Do you actually do that? Eels and mash? Is that a real thing? Or is that just like the one food you get in that one alleyway that nobody actually eats? You know, I've always wondered if it's like an actual food. No, we don't. Okay, so it's seen as like kind of weird. The eels. Now, if you're going to say jellied eels, you have to say eels. You have to say it. You have to say it that way. Do we what? Yeah, jellied eels. This is the stuff that made Jack the Ripper crash out. I swear to God. Like, look at this. Dude, if I had to eat this stuff, I'd go on a spree too. I'd lose my mind. Can you imagine? This stuff is sold in like that same like Whitechapel area. I couldn't do it, man. Why? Why would you eat that? My favorite meme is when people go and they try this and like, guys, the war's been over for a long time. You don't have to eat like this. Like, but I see this is just one of those things where I'm like, you know what? Honestly, the mashed potatoes and the whatever that is, the pie, I could do that. It's the steamed eels. I just couldn't do it, man. It's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Exactly. Dilly and such. Isn't it? That I feel like this is an adequate picture for most people's reaction. Steamed eels. Yeah, shepherd's pie is bitching. Dude, shepherd's pie is goated. Give me a shepherd's pie. Hold the steamed eel. I don't need it. Jellied eel. Okay, get out of here, dude. Oh man, I can't do that. I'm good. Ugh. Oh my God. Anyway, it has to be a joke food for tourists. Probably. Like, but at least if you're gonna make a joke food, make it taste good. Like, do we have any Scots in here? Any Scottish people? Scottish? Got any Scots? I love me some haggis. I've had haggis on numerous occasions. Here in Colorado, we have the Estes Park Highlands Festival. This thing's awesome. It's literally a bunch of Scottish and Irish people come together and try not to fight each other. But they come, they do, you know, dance competitions. They do all sorts of stuff. It's pretty fire. But my favorite thing that they do is in the lake that they have up there. Do they have a picture of it? Nessie. Do they have it? There's a lake behind them. Oh, here it is. And they will like put a fake Loch Ness monster in the lake, and then they shoot cannons and try to hit it. It's pretty fire. Every hour on the hour. It's a good time. Give them a little hat. Yeah, it's pretty cute. But they do this. And so every year when we go, we get haggis. And dude, haggis is fire. And if you don't know what haggis is, I swear we'll talk about video games again. I'm just hungry. I'm realizing I'm just hungry. It is like a delicious savory pudding I'll tell you what it's in. With minced onion, oatmeal, suet seasoning, salt, mixed with stock, cooked. It's super rich and flavorful, almost like a smoky sausage flavor. It's fantastic. The one downside is they cook it in a sheep's stomach. It's the one downside. But, bro, you cut that bitch open, you'd never know. You never know. I very much doubt the U.S. haggis is faithful. Well, probably not that much. The place where we get it every year is served up by a lady who, like, she married somebody, moved from Scotland, so she lives locally in Estes Park, and that's like her thing every year is that she makes it. It's pretty fire. But yeah, these are fantastic. Haggis is really, really good. Really, really good. You would never know that it was like that. I have a feeling with jellied eels, you would know that was jellied eels. I don't think there'd be any question. I don't think you'd be wondering if you did a blind taste test, which was which.
Donated £20 through Super
Thank
Chat.
you.
Right mate, open mouth smile no. Unless I was genuinely starving, borderline anorexic, I ain't eating that ST. And as someone in the military, I've eaten my fair share of foul food.
I also agree with you on haggis. It's so good. Dude, it is. The jellied eels, man, I can't. I don't think I could. You know what? We're going to England later this summer. If we get over there, I'll try to make a point of getting over there. And I will film a mini vlog of me trying jellied eels. Okay? Deal? Then I'll try my darndest not to vomit. But I will try. Okay? I'll try. Don't get shanked. Don't threaten me with a good time. I don't know what's over there, man. I've never been to jolly old London. But we'll give it a shot. I feel like you have to eat the local cuisine, you know. You gotta try it. Try it. Crafty Miscreant with a message that's gonna make us all feel sad. Whenever I got a 6 out of 10, Dad took out the belt. Crafty Miscreant, thank you for the $10 super chat. If you ever need to talk, if you need a hug, let me know. I'm sorry. I don't know how to move on from that. I don't know where to go. Based, how dare you? How dare you? Jesus Christ. Goodness gracious. Chevet, thank you for the 5. I work too hard for my money. I'm not giving it away for okay. We get thousands of games per day, so okay can go sit in a corner. Well, and that's why when people see like a 6 out of 10 score, they go, why would I buy like that? They have a fundamental disconnect from what they're trying to communicate, which is like, no, it's passing. Like it's good enough for you to spend your money on, which is what their grading system says that should count as a 6 out of 10 is like, yeah, you can get it. It's fine. But that's not how people interpret it. The Nuggets, thank you for 12 months. Oh, baby, 1 year. Been a crazy year finishing my master's, working full time, buying a house. Your streams gave tons of entertainment, getting through it all. Thank you, my friend. I'm glad to have you here. A full year. That's insane. And congratulations on all of that, those accomplishments. I mean, that's a big year. Finishing your master's. Congratulations. Still working full time during that. That's impressive. Buying a house as well. Congratulations on that. That's fantastic. Well done, my friend. Intergalactic, thank you for the 5. Not gonna lie, I always thought a certain majority of game critics go around acting like Siskel and Ebert, kind of silly IMO. I've met a few people, a few reviewers that are genuinely like super kind, super warm and nice. There is a disconnect though. There is a disconnect where there's a lot of people that work in the games press that have like contempt for independent creators and coverage. Where like if they work at an outlet, they might go out for drinks or go out for dinner and intentionally not invite any YouTubers or streamers or TikTokers, and just shun them. Like they won't talk to you, they won't look at you, they won't interact with you. It's not everybody. Some, like I said, some of them are genuinely very, very kind. They're incredibly smart, talented people. But I have noticed at plenty of events where there's often a disconnect between the old school, like old guard media and then like the new guard independent guys, where they specifically just do not engage. It's very interesting. Meta, thank you for the 5. Any chance we'd get a Luke and Destin collab? Would love to see an honest conversation about the IGN review and edit practice from 2 perspectives. I would always be down to chat with Destin. I saw Destin was it last week? I don't remember when it was. When we went to the 007 event. Love Destin. And yeah, I'd be down for that. I just don't know, like transparently, I don't know if Destin has limitations on what he can and can't talk about, because I know that there's probably like some things that he's not allowed to talk about from working there. So I wouldn't want to push him into anything that he's not allowed to do. Jack, thank you for that 5. Trust me. Oh, I did read that one. Armin Coleman, thank you for the 5. Can't wait for 007 Wolverine. Should share news this month for gameplay, maybe by the end of the month. Then pre-orders. Yeah, I think we see the Sony showcase some point this month. I do think we will see that. So probably by the end of the month, probably maybe the week of the 20th, somewhere in there, we'll get a PlayStation showcase. We'll see Wolverine, probably new intergalactic footage. We'll get a clearer idea of what's coming next year. So potentially also the probably also the what is it? Corey's game. I was like totally blanking on which one was next. I think Corey's game is probably next year as well. And we should hear something about Fair Game $. So there's that. We should see that. Walter, thank you for the 10. I asked this to Maddie already, but what IP would you want a game like Stray, 6 to 8 hour long? What genres, aka you are an animal, like a Fallout game where you are a dog, would be cool, or what kind of game? What IP would you want a game like Stray, 6 to 8 hours long, with genres, etc.? You're an animal, like Fallout game where you're a dog. Oh, so like what genre where you play as like a small animal navigating the world? I saw one guy who came up with an idea for a D&D campaign, and this made me think of it, where I think it'd be fun to be an animal in the world of D&D, but you're just an animal. His pitch was to create a D&D character, or put a character in the party who is a horse. And so everybody just assumes that it's like a person trapped within an animal's body. And so the whole campaign, they're keeping an eye out. They're bringing this horse with them everywhere through all the cutscenes, through everything. They're trying to find a way to release the person from this animal. And it turns out it's just a stupid horse. They're just bringing a horse around the whole time. And so I think that would be funny. I think that would be funny if you did something like that, where it was just that. It was just an animal, but in a very magical world. And it's just the most unremarkable of all creatures. I think that would be funny. You do Black Flag, but you play as one of the fish. You just like randomly, as you're just swimming around collecting food, you just randomly come across like, oh, is that Edward? Is he whaling? Oh no, he's in the diving bell. Okay. Well, anyway, you just move on. Yeah, a horse in GTA. Yeah, something like that. That could be cool. That could be cool. But specifically in a magical world where you could be possessed by something, but you're just not, you know. It would be like being in Cyberpunk, but you're just a copy of Windows 95. Like you're not Johnny Silverhand, you're not some special terrorist trapped in a digital world. You're just a copy of Windows 95. You know, something like that. Just totally unremarkable. I think that would be fun. Mr. ZS25, thank you for that. Never forget, 7.5 out of 10. Too much water. Yeah, too much water. This game all about water. There's too much. This game about crab fishing, it's a lot of crabs. I don't like crab, so I'm gonna give it a bad score. Yeah, this hunting game, there's like a lot of killing animals, and I don't eat animals. I'm vegan, so 4 out of 10. Basically, that's what they do. Armin Coleman, thank you for that 5 as well. When you think the dedicated state of play for Wolverine be, I think hopefully this month, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I think this month. Well, dedicated. You said dedicated. I think we get a showcase. This might be frustrating, so I'm gonna be real. I'm on level with you, okay? I'm on level with you. Do you know how PlayStation marketed Ghost of Yotei, their last big game? The way they marketed that game was not with these like massive showcases. They did a state of play developer deep dive where they did like a gameplay thing, but most of their marketing was with these like smaller tidbits. Where did it go? Yeah, like the accolades trailer. They did these in the lead up to launch. So like, I think it was circa May, they did a gameplay deep dive, which was like 15 to 20 minutes long, and they showcased a lot of it. But then when we got right up towards launch, in the months leading up to it, they didn't do another like hour showcase. They did like, not the accolades, not that one. I'm thinking of like, it was specifically when they started showcasing, yeah, firearms, Yari. They were these like 39-second clips. So you can see like this one in August. People kept waiting for like a big marketing push, a big preview event or something crazy like that. And they just never really did that. They did these smaller little bitty deep dives and little bitty gameplay demos, and that's it. I personally think the game suffered for it. I think it would have done even better if they had done like something more sorted. But if we're going off of their previous approach for their last big game, they did it this way, where they had a big gameplay reveal deep dive that was like 20 minutes ish. And then they did a bunch of little mini clips. So that's kind of what I expect them to do. But we'll see. It might be different with it being Marvel. That's the other piece, is that it's, you know, it's Wolverine. So there might be other marketing commitments where they have to spend a certain amount on marketing. I don't know, but it's possible. It's possible. The character ate peanut butter and I'm allergic. 2 out of 10. Yeah, literally same energy. Okay. What to do? Okay, one of you guys just sent this earlier in the stream, so I feel like we should look at it. Okay, let's look at this. New mini segment thing. This was like right at the top of the stream, right? I should be able to find. Yeah, okay. So SK Under the Dome sent a $5 super chat and said you should check out the quick video Bethesda Actually Hates New Vegas by Ninthly Plays, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but you say it's pretty validating, LOL. I looked up the video. I found it. We did our research. It is a quick video that just, again, is labeled Bethesda Actually Hates New Vegas. Let's see. I'm not familiar with this, but I do know who that is. Let's see. I'm gonna have to move the cameras. Professional streamer. Look how easy that was. Seamless. Let's see.
Wild. This is hugely morale boosting. I thought we did a good product for you guys that kept Fallout public consciousness, but you guys don't seem very happy about it, despite the fact you got.
So he's talking about New Vegas launches. Bethesda seems to not be particularly happy with it and seems to be upset.
You reaped a lot of the rewards for it.
Bethesda. Even their employees can't help themselves but show bitter resentment towards more beloved games, like that of New Vegas.
A lot of feelings about it. I think, I post a lot of Fallout content on my Instagram or on YouTube or what have you, and a lot of, you always get those guys jumping out of the woodwork to be like, New Vegas is the best, Bethesda sucks, and I'm kind of like, okay. I felt a little bit like touchy about it because I was like, well, we made 90% of the art. We built the engine. We did all that stuff. We did it in a very limited window of time, and we put in all this effort, and they got to just work on the stories, right? All that. And so I felt like
in 18 months. I mean, to be fair, I will say there is there is a good amount of evidence of just Bethesda being weird. I mean, these are clips with individual developers and stuff, which is very interesting because I haven't seen most of these as far as I'm aware. But I have seen plenty of clips where people will say to Todd or something, something about New Vegas, and it just gets weird. The energy just gets weird. It's like people forget that we helped make that game. It's like, what? Okay. There's just a weird energy. What I've compared it to is it gives the same vibe as Bethesda is the older brother. New Vegas and Obsidian, they're the younger brother. Okay. Bethesda, the older brother, makes Fallout 3. It does really well. They're very proud of it. They revitalize Fallout, take it from one format and genre into a new one, and get lots of critical acclaim for it. And then Obsidian comes in. They get the IP from Bethesda. By most accounts, it seems like Bethesda at the time, they've kind of retconned it, but they've kind of reframed it as, no, we gave them the rights. The reporting from the time seems to suggest that this was more of a Robert Altman thing where he wanted to give the IP to somebody else so that they wouldn't have to wait a decade between games. Imagine that. And so they did this spin-off game with Obsidian, and Bethesda wasn't that happy with it. They had just acquired the license, and then the license is being given to somebody else to make a game. They weren't too thrilled with that. And so there's always been this energy of older brother makes this thing, younger brother does something similar, but everybody loves the younger brother's thing more. And so the older brother just feels kind of inadequate, even though he also feels like you couldn't have done that without me. There's just a kind of bitterness about it, which is seemingly reflected here.
It's a little unfair that we're being judged on not having the storylines, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Well, you did Fallout 4 as well, so you did have another chance. Just saying.
Bethesda hates New Vegas. Shocker. But now we have...
No, I don't think hates. I think they're bitter about it. I think it's a little different. Because
proof of that.
Man, we put in all this effort, and they got to just work on the stories.
If you've been living under a rock, for the longest time there's been this rumor, speculation, theory, an online idea that Bethesda hated New Vegas and often resents the success of the game, and also often used whatever they could to stifle the devs out of doing another Fallout.
Bethesda used review scores against us for the DLCs for why they didn't want to keep doing things with us anyway.
Given the online reception of the game forming into quite a cult classic appreciation, it's not hard to understand or see why someone might get a little jealous of this, especially if you were also a project lead. Todd Howard, however, sure did get his revenge with the TV show, huh?
Who's laughing now?
Baldur's Gate 3! Baldur's Gate 3! Baldur's Gate 3! Baldur's Gate 3! Congratulations, Larian!
Who's laughing now?
And
I can tell this editor really likes the slowdown effect.
an interview with none other than gaming icon Chris Avellone by TK Mantis, a lot of truth bombs were dropped. Not just the low yield type either. Chris and TK speak on many different topics, from the love of Van Buren to different ideologies to the concept of, or the view of, the TV show.
Season 2, and I got right up to the beginning of episode 3, and I honestly just couldn't go on any longer.
As well as something like Wild Wasteland being a setting and not a perk, which I completely agree with. 2, Bethesda using DLC quality and audience reception against the developer, Obsidian, quoting things like the audience reception and intention behind Dead Money being used.
Well, I think so. One thing you just have to understand about BGS as a company, and this has become very clear as we've looked at them a lot on these streams. Bethesda, Todd has said it a few times, but the best way he put it was that, in his opinion, it's okay to miss things, and that is both like an artistic opinion, but it's also a business decision. Because when you miss something, what happens when they announce the next one? Ooh, no way. A sequel after 15 years? Here we go. You know, it makes it way more exciting. And Todd is the master of hype. Todd is the master of hype. Love it or hate it, you know? Loves it. Utilizes it to great effect. And I think that that's part of the reason. Like, they wanted control of the IP because it was their baby at that point. They had done a lot of work with Fallout 3 and they wanted to build it out the way they wanted to build it out. And so they didn't want Obsidian becoming the Fallout studio. They're the Fallout studio. They want themselves to be the Fallout studio. And so they wanted to take control of it once more. And I think that was both just a matter of control of the IP that they it seems like they owned it effectively, you know, it was theirs to control. And I think it's also just a desire that if they pumped out too many Fallout games, if they started doing a lot of spin-offs, it would make those big moments not as exciting. Like Fallout 4 wouldn't have been the big moment it was when it launched if they had put out another Fallout New Vegas spin-off, or Fallout New Vegas-esque spinoff in like 2012 or 2013. It wouldn't have hit the same than if, you know, it's been years since we saw it. So I think that it's both a business side and also like maybe a personal desire to have exclusivity with it. But yeah, I think that's just something that's core to how Bethesda treats things, is that they are totally fine with you missing things and not getting a fix for a good long while, and doing more and more spin-offs directly contradicts that approach they have with their IP in general.
Against them. Which is ironic, given Bethesda is also responsible for the worst DLC the franchise has ever seen, and my top 10 worst DLCs of all time, Mothership Zeta. But the cherry on top, this little lore drop, the gold nugget everyone needed to hear was this.
But yeah.
And also, Bethesda used review scores against us for the DLCs for like why they didn't want to keep doing things with us anyway, even though they didn't want to do anything anyway. So whatever.
Well, I think you got to remember, again, our understanding is that Robert Altman, who was in charge of ZeniMax, is the one that gave the IP to Obsidian and kind of made that happen. And so I think what needed to happen was that BGS needed a way to justify to Robert Altman that they shouldn't do this again. And so they needed to have pieces of evidence to go to Robert Altman and say, no, don't give them the IP. Let us do it with Fallout 4. So I think that they were using review scores of like the DLCs to see like, see, they're undervaluing the brand. They're doing all of this. You know, I think that's what they wanted to do. Avery, very generous. Gee whiz, $50 super chat. This sentence is false. Have a fantastic day. That broke my brain. Thank you. You too, my friend. You too.
Definitely talk about that.
Oh,
very generous.
It was fun. They had a whole PowerPoint. Not even about the DLC. They had a whole PowerPoint about all the things Obsidian did wrong, and we're like, wow! And they showed it to us, and we're like, okay.
That's absolutely wild.
This news broke like a few weeks ago from this interview where Chris showed this and like mentioned that there was a PowerPoint outlining all the things they did wrong and that they showed it. Like, I just want you to take a moment and appreciate this. They put out Fallout New Vegas, a bunch of DLC for New Vegas, and then Bethesda schedules a meeting with them. This is circa like 2010, 2011, maybe right before or possibly right after Skyrim. Okay. And then they like, this is pre-Zoom, right? So they probably like literally flew out, they met in person, and they do a PowerPoint presentation on all the things you guys did wrong and why we're not working together anymore. Like, that's insane. That's unhinged. Like, at least have some decency and just ghost them. Like, that's madness. It's a breakup presentation. Literally. Honestly, I love PowerPoint. So if somebody broke up with me, I'd respect them more if they did it through a PowerPoint. I'd be like, I wasn't sure about this breakup, but after seeing it in a visual presentation, I can understand. So honestly, maybe it's brilliant.
This is hugely morale boosting. I thought we did a good product for you guys that kept Fallout public consciousness, but you guys don't seem very happy about it, despite the fact you reaped a lot of the rewards for it. So.
And now there's like some credit being taken where like in the press tour for season 2 of the show, I remember hearing clips of Todd being like, people forget we published that game. We worked with them closely on that. So now that everybody loves it, it's convenient to take credit for it and act like it's great. But at the time they were apparently quite upset to the point where they're doing presentations on all the crap they thought they did, which is wild. It's wild.
Anyway, so there was that. So like,
in the market are things that we've done. But at the end of the day, you look at
the PowerPoint crashed. Oh, that's a good touch. That's a good touch. That's a gal. You got me there. Todd's like, it's not working. It's not working. You guys told me this would just work. And it's not. This might be the last time the candle goes, man. It is low. I think we've had to replace it once already because it burned through. We talk about Todd a lot. Continuing.
The player response and how can we do, better. Say, what else? This percentage of it.
That's right. You heard that correct. I'll play it again.
They did a whole PowerPoint about all the things Obsidian did wrong. And we're like, wow.
Bethesda made a PowerPoint presentation on everything Obsidian did wrong with Fallout New Vegas and then forced the team to watch it. Everything said in this interview really does drive home the fact that
I just don't like the old question. Let's go all Platonic on this. Why? Or Socrates, not Plato. Socrates. Why? Oh no, Todd. Oh my God. We were too harsh. We were too harsh. Oh my God. Todd is smoking. Oh my God. Oh, Todd. It was a good run. It was a good run. Now we've got to move him over to another scent. We could do Macintosh apple. I've got pumpkin pie. You know what? It might be a pumpkin pie kind of day. We'll do that. You killed Todd. Okay, hold on. Drink it. I can't. It's solidified again. I can't. Don't you think I want to? Don't you think I want to? If I could fix this. Don't you think I want to? Let's do whipped pumpkin spice. This is going to be Todd's new home for a little while. Okay. Todd, we transfer thy spirit into this new candle where you shall call home. I can't get your sacred tape off of your housing. Let us open it in joy and blessing and kindness, placing it upon thy new home, taping it firmly upon. And in the words of the book of Todd, chapter 4, verse 20, blaze it. Amen. There we go. There we go. Okay, much better. Much better. Todd's okay, everybody. Todd's okay. Todd's okay. We can continue now. Praise be indeed. Luke, why didn't you get invited to Elder Scrolls 6 preview stuff? I don't know. If I ever go, you better believe I'm bringing him a candle as a gift. You better believe it. Maybe it's seen as a bribe. I don't care. I don't care. Don't even care. Cancel me. I don't care. Continuing.
We were right. I mean, for years we've been saying that Todd hates New Vegas, that Todd is jealous of New Vegas, and now we've got proof of that. I mean, we had proof.
This is what I was saying. I wanted to go all Socrates on it. Dude, Todd smells good. We should have swapped your home out faster, dude. So what I was saying is why? Like, just ask yourself, why would a company need to create a presentation, something that takes effort and labor, and then go, and even if it's a video call, that's still scheduled. But again, this is like 2013, or not 2013. This is probably like 2011, 2012. I don't know when the last DLCs were. Maybe I can just ask Google real quick. When was the last DLC for Fallout New Vegas released?
The Final Story DLC, Lonesome Road, launched on September 20th, 2011. 2 additional item packs, Gunrunner's Arsenal and Courier's Stash, were released shortly after on September 27th, 2011.
So they had a meeting with them right around like Skyrim, if not right after. Like, they're very busy with Skyrim, which is about to be like the biggest game of all time at that point. And they made a point to create a presentation on everything they did wrong with New Vegas and show them why. Why? Like, is it just, was it constructive feedback because they wanted to work together again? Demonstrably not. They never worked together again. And according to Chris, like, it was not a good meeting. Like, it was not a fun meeting. Let's figure out how to do better next time. That's not what this was. To humiliate them, that's the only, I mean, what else am I supposed to think? It kind of comes off as like humiliation. Like, you're going to sit here and listen while we lecture you. You see what we just made? Bitch. Skyrim over there. Look at the horns on the helmet. The dragons can talk. You can go up that mountain. Yes, you have to take stairs and a couple loads, but you can get there. Ho. Like, that's what it seems to me. It seems like, what else am I supposed to think? It's not constructive. They never work together again. Oh, it's a professional courtesy. How is it a professional courtesy to go and do a presentation of all of the things you hate about their work that everybody else likes, by the way? Like, it comes off bad. Pettiness? Yeah, it's I don't even know what word to use for it, but yeah, it's this, like, again, I guess bitterness is just how it feels. It's that, like, petty bitterness where, like, they felt like they were better than them, probably in the wake of Skyrim, because they probably were doing this right. If they're doing a presentation in the aftermath of the DLC, going through all the things they didn't like about the DLC and how they handled it, that probably realistically means they probably didn't do the meeting in October. The game launched in early November. So it's probably like early 2012 they have that meeting rambling about all the things they hated. So they are at their peak coming off Skyrim, and they just are talking down to Obsidian about all this, and it just comes off as like, Daddy, chill.
Before, but there's more proof now. We knew we were right, but this point is completely irrefutable at this point. The development team at Bethesda were absolutely jealous of the praise New Vegas got, and that project leads at Bethesda were also spiteful of the spin-off success, to the point where internal and review sabotage has been alluded to. Now, feel free to deny this. I know there's going to be people in the comments saying, well, this didn't happen, this isn't true, you're reading into this too much, but at this point, the proof kind of stacks against any other claims. Feel free to pick an interview where Todd, who's notorious for lying, says this isn't the case. The issue is, however, we have Bethesda's own developers saying this, confirming their jealousy of New Vegas, so it all correlates.
And they got to just work on the stories, right? Like,
which again is just such a baffling reframing, a retcon. Yes, they had the engine, they had assets provided to them. They did have to make some original, because obviously it was in a different setting than it's not like Bethesda made, Lucky 38. So they were able to use a lot of stuff they got from Bethesda, but they also had to pump that game out in 18 months under extreme crunch based on the limitations put on them by Bethesda. Like, and it's this, I'm not sure who this individual is, but if it's somebody that worked on Fallout, it looks like he's got the Skyrim Collector's Edition statue in the back. So probably a developer from that era. And he's expressing the same kind of bitterness, and the contempt is like another word that I would use here. It's this this very pointed feeling. Contempt is an intense feeling of superiority, disdain, and disrespect, often acting as destructive poison in relationships by treating partners as worthless. Does that ring a bell to what we just heard? I think Bethesda, probably the best word is that Bethesda had contempt and has contempt for Obsidian surrounding Fallout New Vegas. And bear in mind, like I need everybody to just remember, New Vegas did not launch at like a 95 Metacritic, okay? It launched in like the low 80s. I believe it was 84. It was 1 point shy of when they would have gotten bonuses. And with that score, it was considered to be good, but it was super buggy, broken at times. But what was there was so good that even with it being broken in a lot of places, it still was really, really good. Really, really good. But it took a few years for it to achieve its full like cult classic status. And in the wake of Fallout 4, a lot of people went back to it and found the writing quality, the choice and consequence to be so significantly better than like Fallout 4 that it really was solidified. It's like, okay, no, I think this is the best Fallout game we've gotten. With Fallout 76, you better believe it was even locked in even more at that point. Even more. So it's been in the years even after this presentation where it's just been solidified even more. And now they're doing the Fallout TV show and they go and set a season in New Vegas. And again, very conveniently, all of a sudden now they're talking it up because people are fans of it and love Fallout New Vegas. And conveniently it's like, well, people forget we published it. We helped them build that. You would never guess that they did a humiliation presentation and humiliation ritual. It's making everybody sit through that. Fallout, maybe I can find the clip. Season 2, Todd Howard, New Vegas. Let's see. I don't see anything. Somebody filmed him just at some meeting. That's kind of creepy. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's weird. Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. Which any is canon? Fallout New Vegas. I don't see it. We'll have to do some digging to find the clip. Oh, is this it?
Obsidian now being under the same Microsoft umbrella, has that opened up more opportunities for collaborations like New Vegas? And I'll stop you right there, Todd. We all saw the headlines. You hate New Vegas. You hate Obsidian. You've retconned them out of the timeline. It just doesn't exist. So you don't even have to answer this question if you don't want to.
First, I'll say they did an amazing job with New Vegas. And we see some of that. And I'll say to everybody, like, that's a game that we published, right? So it's also kind of, yeah.
would you guess based on this framing that they did a presentation lecturing them and bashing them? I don't think so. I think this is maybe a little bit of reframing.
And I would say Fergus, who runs Obsidian, is absolutely one of my favorite people in the.
When he's doing what I tell him to do. When he's sitting down and listening, not doing whatever the crap he was with New Vegas. Damn it.
Video game industry. And he's been around for so many decades, has done so many things, and has seen it all. So they do a fantastic job. I can't speak to...
Do they, though? Would you have said that back 15 years ago? Do you think? Do you think? Did a fantastic job? Incredible job? Do you think? Do you think? Maybe.
Things that we're doing with the franchise in the future, obviously. But New Vegas is a very, very important game to us and our fans. We think they did an incredible job. And if anything, the show is leaning into, right, the events there. You see
Just
House
a bit by that final shot of the show. Yeah, just a bit it's leaning in.
Yeah. And obviously season 2 is going to be featuring some of New Vegas. And we're careful about, maintaining the key events of that game and the great content in it. It is obviously difficult to deal with when you're going back to an area where a game had multiple endings.
Yep.
We have some answers there, but it's hard. It is, I'll just admit, everybody realizes it's hard to sort of canonize or say this is exactly how that game ended. And so whenever...
So we just don't do anything. We just don't say a word. Anyway, I want to be clear with all this. The reason that this is even a topic again is because people love Fallout New Vegas and they feel like there has just always been some funk around the discourse, and I feel like a lot of this just reaffirms it.
All that, and so I felt like it's a little unfair that we're being judged on not having the storyline.
So, to recap, we have had a long-standing theory that Bethesda purposely made development hell for the folks of Obsidian. They used DLCs as an angle.
Well, to be clear, I want to be level-headed about this. I don't think they made development hell. I think they were on strict timelines because they needed to get the game out at a reasonable cadence and budget. It was supposed to be a spin-off for basically a cash grab. And let's be completely real. That's what New Vegas was supposed to be. I don't think they expected it to be considered a masterpiece. They thought they were going to get it out quickly. Robert Altman would get some money to keep the brand kind of active in people's minds before Fallout 4 eventually comes out a number of years later. And so they just put a lot of strict restrictions on it. And let's be real, I don't think they wanted New Vegas to surpass their game in terms of quality and everything. But I don't think that they were actively sabotaging. I know people have claimed that, but I've defended Bethesda on this point. People suggesting that there's some sort of cruelty or problem with them putting a goal for bonuses. They said if you get an 85 Metacritic, you get bonuses. The Metacritic scores came in at 84. That's not a scandal. Okay, they set a goal, they didn't meet the goal, so I don't see that as manipulation. Now, if a story comes out that they were paying reviewers at outlets to give it a worse score so they would have the average below 85, yeah, that's a problem. But as far as I'm aware, there's no claim of that. They just claim that because the threshold was 85, that was somehow unfair, which I don't think is unfair. They set a bar, they didn't clear the bar, so they don't get the bonuses. That's just kind of how life is. Same thing, if you need a 75 to pass this class in school, but you scored a 74, sucks to suck, sucks to suck.
To not rehire Obsidian for another Fallout game. Bethesda devs felt that they did all the work for New Vegas and all Obsidian did was write the story, and yet Obsidian gets all the praise. Bethesda, Todd, Emil, whatever, made a PowerPoint on everything wrong with New Vegas. And
it really makes you wonder what those conversations inside the studio are like. When the doors are closed, cameras are off, lights are off, and they're just talking candidly with each other. how do they talk about all this? I mean, if they are in front of the other company doing presentations and like lecturing them, that's kind of wild. So just imagine like some of those conversations.
Forced Obsidian to watch it. And now, with season 2 of the Fallout TV show, we got...
Yeah, Crimson Desert got a 7 and got thick bonuses. They even got a 45 out of 100 from one outlet. Well, and I mean, that was, I think, remarkable because it sold remarkably well. And of course, I think we're all going to praise Pearl Abyss for giving out bonuses like that, even despite the Metacritic score. It's almost like Metacritic scores do not actually directly correlate to quality or whether you're going to enjoy something. Sometimes it's a rough guideline, sure, but it's almost like Metacritic scores are kind of stupid. It's almost like a Metacritic score might not actually reflect what you'll think of the game. You know, it's wild.
A highlight reel of New Vegas either being destroyed or being ruined. The King dead, the NCR crippled, the Legion goofy jock bros.
Kaiser's
House dead but not dead. The Courier, a fan favorite character, almost completely ignored, absolutely character assassinating that character completely by just making them a homicidal maniac. In a season set in New Vegas, we also barely get anything set in the Mojave, and we get Fallout 4 music instead of New Vegas thematic music, even during moments where it really shouldn't have been. Hell, even the Strip is reorganized into whatever cul-de-sac. Word to the wise, Bethesda, there's a reason it's called the Strip. I mean, at this point, it would be in Todd's best interest, at least from a audience perspective and reception, because we know you like those, Todd, from that perspective, to just come out and say, hands up and say, yeah, I hated how successful New Vegas was. Sorry, that wasn't nearly whiny enough. Because it quite literally couldn't be more plain as day than this. And I'm sorry, but this is the validation and vindication we've been waiting for. Bethesda hated New Vegas. They hated the success of the game. They hate the reception of the game. They hate the fact that everybody always talks about the game. That's why they're trying to bleed New Vegas fans dry, because they hate you, but they know you'll buy stuff.
They hate you. It's a very dramatic framing. They hate you. I don't think they hate you. I think it's, like I said, it gives off the energy of like older brother to younger brother. There's just this kind of contempt for it, where they feel like Obsidian doesn't maybe deserve, or New Vegas doesn't deserve the attention, love, and admiration that it has gotten. And the fact that even though Fallout 4 has all these extra mechanics and all the base building, and there's so many settlements that need help, it isn't loved as much as New Vegas, and that kind of drives them crazy. I think that it's a complicated relationship for sure. This revelation of the PowerPoint is insane, and I would love to hear the explanation that makes that not insane. But overall, I think it does validate what the suspicion has been and the vibes have been for a long time, which is just that the feeling has always been off. It's always been weird. Whenever New Vegas comes up, there's always like a tension, and just a weird energy fills the room whenever New Vegas has been brought up historically with Bethesda. And they tried reframing it around season 2, where it's, well, we published it, we were involved in all this. But that's clearly not what the feeling was at the time, and it doesn't seem to be the case now. Can we kickstart a bounty to get the PowerPoint? Dude, imagine if somebody had that. Imagine. That would be crazy. That would be crazy if somebody could find that PowerPoint. Anyway, I think with all this, what are the actual takeaways? At this point, like, I don't think that there's a lot of positivity when it comes to like Bethesda with let me back up. I don't think there's a lot of optimism or desire to work together when it comes to Obsidian wanting to work with Bethesda and Bethesda wanting to work with Obsidian. I don't think so. I just don't. Why would they? I mean, imagine somebody does that to you and then comes back and is like, "Hey, you want to work together again?" Like, No, get away from me. Like, I know I don't want to work with you again. That was terrible. You lectured me in a presentation after we did a pretty good job with a pretty restrictive schedule and budget and everything. And then you lecture me about all the things we should have done differently. Come on, go. No. Like, I don't blame them. Why would Obsidian want to work with them again? And why would Bethesda all of a sudden change their mind, even if it represents a payday or something? I don't think they will. The only way it could change is if somebody like now Asha, we were saying Phil for a long time, but if Asha came in and gave him like a kick in the pants and said, you guys are going to get along. You're going to do it. Okay. We're doing the remake, we're doing the remaster, or we're doing a sequel, whatever. She could just come in and say this is what's happening, and that could get the ball rolling. We do know that they're working on a Fallout 3 remaster, remake, what have you. It's not exactly clear what it's going to be, but it's expected that it's also going to be similar, at least in form, to what they did with Oblivion. My personal anecdotal experience and feeling, my vibe after speaking with my friends, so take it or leave it, is that I think the Fallout 3 release, I personally don't expect it to perform as well as the Oblivion remaster. I don't know. I guess let me know in chat. Let me know in chat real quick. Do you think Fallout 3 remake does better or worse than the Oblivion one? I think Fallout 3 does worse than Oblivion. Because I just think like Fallout 3, it's a very unique game, but not a lot of people go back to Fallout 3 specifically. They go back to New Vegas. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Like I said, it's an anecdotal experience. I think better definitely does worse. Better for sure. Worse for sure. That's because of the show. Better because of the show. It's possible that the show does help it. I think New Vegas would make more sense, but if they go for the next season and go like revisit some sites from Fallout 3 and then they release kind of in tandem, that could work. Worse, better. Fallout as a whole sells better. That's true. Fallout as a franchise in general is doing very, very well. The other piece of it too is that Fallout 3 has not gotten hardly any attention from Xbox or Bethesda, so getting an update and more stability could really, really help. Fallout's more in the zeitgeist, I think better. Oblivion is only popular because of the memes now. Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. Depends on how buggy it is at launch. Well, to be clear, I think they're going to shadow drop it because we already know, in case you missed it, just a few hours ago, actually, like 4 hours ago, Digital Foundry posted an article. They also did a video on it, so I encourage you to watch the video. But they went back and tested Oblivion Remastered a year later and found that it is still just as busted as when it dropped. This is one of those things, let's be completely real, they got away with because they shadow dropped it. If this had been like sent to reviewers and this info would have come out before launch, I think it would have reframed things. But the excitement of the launch, I think, really helped blow it up. But basically, if you're not familiar, there's a problem in Oblivion that's held over through the remake, where the longer you play it, the worse it performs. So you can see there's a fresh boot versus a charged save. The way that this is framed is specifically, it's hard to look beyond the initial design phase when it comes to apportioning blame, which sandwiched the original game's architecture with Unreal Engine 5's front end. Both of these elements are notoriously CPU and GPU heavy, so the combination presents with extremely poor frame time stability that gets worse the longer you play. Still, the lack of updates suggests Bethesda didn't feel like meaningful improvements were possible, and not even making the attempt feels even worse. Basically, the longer you play the game, the worse your frame rate will get. And so you have to shut the game off fully, reboot it, reload, and then the frame rates go back up. So they could have tried to fix it. Either it wasn't possible to fix, or it was too hard, or they didn't feel like it was worth the time.
Obsidian only didn't clear the bar BC of the strict timeline. Had they had time to fix the bugs, they'd have gotten it. Emil must seething to this day about Envy's story praise despite the buggy gameplay.
I think the story being critiqued, yeah, that probably does rub salt in the wound. But as for why they didn't clear the bar, yeah, more time definitely would have helped. I think from my point of view, I'm like, They signed the contract. So Obsidian signed the contract agreeing to hit this Metacritic score in this timeline. As far as I'm aware, none of that was hidden. So I think it's unreasonable to be like suggesting something was hidden or tricky or sneaky about it. They just set a bar here, said you have 18 months to hit it. They got real damn close. I think 84 is still remarkable. But I don't think, as far as I'm aware, nothing was like deceptive about how they did it. But as you can see, like this is still a problem even a year after launch. And this is probably going to be an artifact in the Fallout 3 remake, remaster as well. And if something went wrong, it just crashes randomly, even now. So, but because of this, I think with the Fallout 3 release, it's going to be a shadow drop as well. Like, I don't think that they're going to market it heavily. I just don't think they're going to do that. So anyway, it's a fascinating little story, little tidbit. Thank you for the suggestion earlier, SK Under the Dome, for the recommendation on the video. Little dramatic, yes. I would not phrase it as Bethesda hates New Vegas fans. I don't think they hate the game. I think it's more just a broader contempt, a bitterness around it. And now that it's convenient to try and take credit for it, that's where the messaging is going. But there's always been a weird energy, and hearing now that there was a presentation done in 2012 lecturing them over what they should have done differently, while they're riding high and mighty off of Skyrim's success is pretty fascinating. It's a fascinating reveal. But there you go. Let's see. Why do people give crap to New Vegas for being buggy? They're all buggy. New Vegas is on another level. The fact it runs at all, having been thrown together as quickly as it was, is remarkable, for sure. For sure. But it's buggy. I mean, to this day, it's really buggy. For some people on some hardware, you cannot boot it without mods. It's rough. It just is really, really rough, even to this day. Fallout 3 was rough, yes. I don't think it was quite on the level of New Vegas. And New Vegas at launch was even worse. Of course, we don't experience that now. If you buy the game today, you're experiencing it after fixes and bug fixes and patches and stuff. Of course, after the DLC that fixed some other stuff. So we're experiencing it with the benefit of the updates, but it was not always like that, you know. Let's see. They seemed that seemed from Waterboy, where he loses them the game, and he's still like, "Will you be my friend?" Like, no, get away from me. A Waterboy reference. That's goated. Yeah, it's just like, I don't blame Obsidian if they don't want to work with them again. Like, hearing what you just heard, would you want to work with them? I wouldn't. Even if it was on something I was really passionate about, knowing that there was going to be another wave of negativity and toxicity while trying to get the game out, like, it would drive me crazy. Let's see, Mr. Z, thank you for that. Luke, did you hear about the chapter cut from RE9? Really curious what it was about. Maybe someday we'll find out. I did not hear about that, but I will look that up. Chapter cut from RE9. I will look that up. Yeah, apparently there's an article. It had a Phantom chapter that Capcom cut. Let's see, Nakanishi told Japanese website, I can't even pronounce that. I've mentioned in interviews before that there was a Phantom Chapter 2 for Resident Evil 7 that was cut during development. It was a scene where you move from the first annex to the main building, but actually there was also a Phantom Chapter 2 for Resident Evil Requiem, but he did not clarify what that chapter was. Yeah, I wonder what that would have been. If it was maybe more Leon gameplay to like splice in, maybe that's what it would have been, because it's kind of front loaded otherwise. But anyway, that's fascinating. Thank you for letting me know. Save Point Sam, thank you for the show off membership. What a show off, tell you what. Thank you for that, my friend. Much love. Thank you for being here. And then Pinheadry, I can't read. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Very generous. Welcome everybody who just got that. Welcome. Glad to have you. Thank you. Very generous, guys. Thank you. My goodness. Thank you. Real quick, Wallet the Great, the more I hear about Bethesda, the more I realize they don't act like sleazebags. They are sleazebags, scandal after scandal. It's crazy. It is impressive to be just consistently embroiled in drama. Victor, thank you for, Victor Riot, I think. Thank you for that membership as well. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Dad Venture says with a 10, I would actually collapse if you scored an in-person interview with Todd and started by pulling out a candle and lighting it. Just, Todd, before we start, I have to do something. If they ever let me in a building, with him, I'll consider that a W. But yeah, I would be down for that. I think he'd be okay with it. Can you imagine? King Cole, Jesus Christ, thank you guys, very generous.
At King Cole 1999 donated $50 through Super Chat. Side note, with Wolverine around the corner, I am excited to see what other superhero game are to come.
Yes.
I like Batman and Spider-Man. They both were iconic, but an open world car combat Ghost...
They just cut it. But an open world car combat Ghost Rider, oh, that would actually be kind of cool. Or Nemesis System Green Arrow. Those are, there are many ideas. There's a lot you could do with it. Originally, of course, Batman was, when they were doing a Batman Nolanverse game, that's when they developed the Nemesis system early on. So, and then it later turned into Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor once the Nolanverse game was canceled. So I think that like a Batman Nemesis system game could work really, really well. There's a lot that they could do, to be honest. And I do think we will see some stuff because Rocksteady is allegedly working on a Batman game, kind of back to returning to roots sort of thing. And I'm sure that there's going to be other stuff. Like if Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight does really well, I think you're going to see a massive greenlighting of that. Because I think what Warner Brothers is doing with their gaming division is they're just trying to hit it out of the park with a few games that are massive. It's like Hogwarts Legacy. Do that again, but bigger. You know, that's their goal. And I think Lego Batman does well. Do that again, but bigger. And so I think they'll just try to double up on each of them. And that just means going even more ambitious and crazy in scope and scale. So I think we will see a lot of stuff in that realm soon enough. I think so. Let's see, slide number 6 really put in perspective why we can't be in a relationship. Yeah, let me just circle back to slide number 6. Let me just reframe that real quick, just so you can see. Slide 6 outlines the things you guys said. You phrased in your emails. You addressed us, dear sirs and madams. We don't like that here. We tend to just get right into the message. We're gonna have to separate because of that. Oh, the Blade game? Yeah, whenever we see that, dude, that's gotta be close, right? It's gotta be. RF, thank you for the 5 gifteds as well. Jesus, guys, thank you. Welcome everybody who's just getting their memberships. Thank you. Check, if you're a lurker, double check the stream. You might have just gotten one. You never know. Never know. Caleb called me out for not having the candle lit. I did light it, Caleb, and then it burned out. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you for 22 months, my friend. Kyle, thank you for the 2. Todd Howard is the Mark Zuckerberg of games. I don't even know what to do with that. I'm gonna be real. I don't even know. Kinomansky, thank you for the 30 months. It's funny how we're fascinated by BGS and other legacy studios' current failures, but what they probably deserve now is indifference. F that. Yes, we candle. Yes, we candle indeed. I do think it is, you only get this level of passion from fans and former fans. And I think that that's the key. Like, people will comment or ask and they'll be like, why do you talk about Bethesda so much? And it's like, because it's fascinating, and because at the end of the day, we're all fans. We're just at different levels on the gradient of fandom. You know, some of us like some fans are still super active fans and super into what they're doing, and they're eating up Starfield and loving, and every Bethesda game is better and bigger than it's ever been. Some people are actively playing Fallout 76 and they're like, yes, this is peak Fallout. Others are coming off of like old school Fallout and they miss those games. I think it's just an artifact of a studio that's been around for a very long time and is doing a lot of different stuff. And so you end up with segmented, fractured, and disenfranchised members of the fandom. So when they do, assuming they do soon, a big Fallout release, that part of the fandom that's been disenfranchised for a long time is going to come out of the woodwork and be super hyped and excited. When they come out and we see Elder Scrolls 6 again, you'll see a massive wave of Elder Scrolls fans coming out of the woodwork who have been sitting waiting for something for years and years and years and years and years. And so I think it's just an artifact of how they do things. Like when you go from making single player narrative games, single player sandbox games, and go into like live service stuff with Fallout 76, and you're doing spin-off projects and mobile games and all this stuff, you shouldn't be surprised when a lot of your fandom ends up going, what are we doing? It's very similar to what happened with like Assassin's Creed, where there's a lot of old school Assassin's Creed fans who are like, what are we doing? I'm not interested in this game or that game or this game or that game. I want Black Flag. And you know, you see once they get it, they get what they've been asking for with like Resynced, they're super giddy and super excited. You know, it's almost like you just have to listen to your audience and give them what they want, you know. Imagine that. Real quick, over on Twitch, I got a few to catch up on real quick. Stony MC gifted a sub earlier. Thank you for that one. Thank you. Weedly Bot, thank you for resubbing. Left a message too. Hey Luke, my dog passed away recently. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. And I used to put your videos on so she wasn't bored when I had to leave for school or work. But I'm getting a new pup soon and we'll continue the tradition. Thanks for keeping us entertained all this time. Much love, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. I'm sorry to hear that. That type of loss is never, ever easy. That's mighty difficult. So stay strong, my friend. And funnily enough, I've actually heard multiple people say that they will put on like critiques when they leave their house for their dog to have like a voice present. Actually, one of my college friends said that his dog, who has separation anxiety, like really bad, he will put on like the stream before leaving so that the dog has like a voice to be there and feel like somebody's there, which is really cute. But I'm humbled you would consider me for a role such as that. I'm truly humbled. Thank you, my friend. Much love. All these dogs learning about Todd. Yeah. You show Todd on TV, they start barking. That's funny. The idea of doing that is just funny. I start training dogs through the streams to bark whenever they see Todd on screen. That we should do that. That would be funny. I don't even know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. Okay, where is it? Stony gave out another sub. Thank you for that. That was very generous too. Thank you, my friend. Madden subbed. Jinx2G subbed. Billy Colthurst also subbed. Gee whiz, guys. Then Jinx gave 5 subs on Twitch, and then Stony gave another sub. Golly. All of this because of the new candle? That's gotta be what did it, right? That's gotta be it. It's got to be it. I knew we should have switched over sooner. I knew it. Well, you live and you learn. Thank you, guys. That's incredibly generous. Much love, my friend. Much love to you, Jinx. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody who's been very generous. Watch you all the time on YouTube. Just rarely get the chance to join on stream. Well, I'm glad you came by, my friend. It's, I try to keep it fun. We try to keep it light. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you. It smells so good it detracts donations. Apparently gets the donos flowing. Okay. And Jinx, golly, that's too generous. Just gave out another 5. If you're over on Twitch, if you're lurking, if you're just chilling, check the stream real quick. Because if you've got a sub, get your booty over to the Discord. Get your booty over. We would love to have you. Thank you, Jinx. Very generous. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Also, to RF, thank you for that. 5 as well. You should check out the Lantern of Laughless Saint. Laughless Saint, maybe? I think one of the trailers geared exactly at you. I'm not. That actually sounds familiar. Lantern of the Laughless Saint. Lantern of the Laughless Saint. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just looked it up. I know exactly what you're talking about. Lantern, this. Okay, guys, look. Watch. I wonder what he could be talking about.
Fuck you, Todd Howard. Elder Scrolls 6 is taking so long that we're just making our own. Except we're making it weird and unique like Morrowind was. Cast spells that make you jump 5,000 feet and fucking die. Fungus lizards, vulture gorillas, Voltrillas lizard men. That guy looks familiar. Everyone's making a Souls-like. We're making a Scrolls-like. Kill every NPC. Pickpocketing, lockpicking, and fucking co-op? Can you do that, Todd? Huh? The Lantern of the Lapless Saint. The prologue to the Holy Fool. Lantern releasing this year. With your support, we can finish the Holy Fool and make it the most unique open-world RPG since Morrowind.
Get your butts over there. Wish list it. Please. Please. Donate. Whatever you gotta do. We need this game. The Lantern of the Laughless Saint. That trailer alone. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, come on. That's pretty fantastic. Stoney, thank you. Thank you for another gifted. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Very generous. That's freaking fantastic. That's so good. I was like, that sounds familiar. I searched. I was like, I know what this is. I know why you sent this. That's fantastic. Okay, well, great. Thank you for that. Speaking of Nemesis system in Spider-Man, when Taskmaster says he's learning from you, he actually learns from you. In the final showdown, he spammed gadgets because I spammed gadgets in the previous fights. It was sick. Yeah, well, that type of learned behavior is something that is actually like, it's really necessary. Like when I was talking, it's something I don't think I mentioned it. Maybe I did in my Black Flag reveal video. I talked to, as I mentioned, Paul, who's the creative director for the Black Flag resynced remake thing. And he said that they specifically they specifically rebuilt the enemy AI for stealth to be better, but also for combat, specifically because they said they realized player feedback was that they did not like button mashing. People just don't like button mashing. It's boring. It's lame. So what they did is they built into the AI a system that recognizes repeated inputs from the player. So if you are repeatedly spamming R1, 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 the AI will collectively realize you're doing that, and they will counter it with a different approach to try and specifically punish you for button spamming and just repeatedly spamming the same buttons to try and keep combat interesting and dynamic. It's something that a lot of people may never notice because they'll just be like, that's not working. Okay, try something else. But that's how they do it. I mean, it's like one of those under the hood things that when you find out about it, you're like, that's freaking awesome. I never realized. But same with that boss fight where like you might not realize that it's learning from you or changing its behavior, but it is. You know, and that's what's really cool. It's the same thing like the classic example of the Mr. Freeze fight from Batman Arkham City, where as you use a tactic against him, he learns it and then counters it. You're jumping up from the grates, he freezes all the grates. You're jumping down from the gargoyles, he breaks the gargoyles. You know, that type of thing. It's really, really cool. Really cool. Yeah. Are people triggered over spoilers? I don't know if that's is that what is the fair cutoff for spoilers? I guess I should ask that. What is the fair cutoff for spoilers? Like, at what point can you casually mention something and it's not fair to throw a fit? No, he's joking. Yeah, well, but I mean the people that aren't joking. Like if you bring up 10 years, a decade, 5 years, well, you gotta know the difference. Because if it's 10 years. Then it's like, okay, we can talk freely about Fallout 4 spoilers, you know, without fear. Witcher 3 spoilers? Probably. I feel like 10 years is a long time. Maybe 2 to 3 years. It kind of also feels like the more popular something is, the shorter the time should be. You know, because like Baldur's Gate 3, huge. If you've not played it by now, you probably aren't going to play it. You know, like if you've not played it by now, you probably don't care about spoilers. In the same vein that like a big movie comes out after a year, like at this point, I wouldn't feel bad about spoiling the end of La La Land. You know, I wouldn't feel bad about it. It's like if you wanted to see it, you would have seen it. You know? Spoilers, TV 1 to 2 days, movies 1 week, games 1 month, books a month. Oh. You've got a whole system. You've got a whole system broken down. I usually just go on vibes. Like I feel like everybody knows this already. You know? Do they die at the end of La La Land? Love dies. Dude, my mom hates movies that have like a twisted ending or like a not clearly happy ending. She only wants the happy endings. And she watched La La Land and was like upset for weeks. Like it actually pissed her off that they don't end up happily getting married and everything. Like it actually pissed her off. It was very funny. Like it's also, I have a buddy from college who's the same way. It's like, I go to a movie to feel good. I don't want to go to a movie and then watch the whole movie rooting for them. And then the movie's over and then I'm leaving sad. Like I don't, and I'm like, yeah, but it's called La La Land. The whole point is they're willing to sacrifice anything to fulfill their dreams, even if it means sacrificing each other. And so it's a fulfillment of the La La Land fantasy and all this. It's like, I don't care. I want to leave happy. Yeah. It's like, okay, fair enough. Just not your thing. That's okay. That's okay. I respect it. Okay. Let me send this text real quick. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of sad movies. Like I get it. If you don't want to go to the movies or go pay money to be entertained and leave depressed, fair. Like there's some movies you're not going to feel good after the movie. Like it's just miserable, you know? And that's okay. You know, if it's not your thing. I respect it. I still think like the story isn't therefore bad just because it doesn't end happy. I think that's where I have to be clear. Like a story can be even more remarkable, you know, even if it like lands in a way that is frustrating. It doesn't mean it's bad just because it ends sad, you know? Dude, Marley and Me, you leave worse. Dude, Marley and Me. Oh my God. There's a lot of those. Isn't it amazing how you can have a movie that's basically defined by one horrible thing, even though there's an entire movie? It's like Old Yeller. It's like an entire movie. Nobody knows what the movie's about. They just know that a dog dies. You know? They just know you got to shoot the dog at the end. It's like, what was the other hour and a half? Like, what were we even doing for the rest of that movie? I have no idea, but I just know at the end they kill the dog. You know, it's like you just get tunnel vision. You forget about everything else in the movie, and it's just, yeah, it's something. Snakes on a plane. Yeah, what else happened? I don't know. Snakes. There was a plane, I think. Air Force One. I remember just get off my plane. They throws him. I remember that. Yeah. A lot of 90s movies. Yeah, you can tell they had one idea for the movie and they're like, okay, that. What else? We just gotta figure it out, I guess. Pluto, thank you for that. Do you think the new Xbox CEO would be able to capture the same feeling the 360 had, from the avatars to the UI, etc.? I think that's the desire. I'm getting, well, 360 or the like original Xbox, because one of the things that's been clear, Asha Sharma, there you go, dropping today, she just posted this, our new logo in dynamic backgrounds, profile backgrounds, and gamer pics. So like this is what they're doubling down on, this logo. And this to me doesn't necessarily make me think purely like 360. This specifically the glowing, translucent, plasticky vibe makes me think OG Xbox more than anything. And I think that that's the key. Is I think they're trying to recapture that original energy. And I think that's the approach. And honestly, like we jokingly said it. Jimmy's right. We've jokingly said it. I think the thing that would make all of this like such an easy W would be to unironically call the Helix Xbox 720. You do that, bro, that's going viral. Bro, that pops off. You double down on the aesthetic of the OG Xbox. Give me a launch translucent green plastic controller where I can see the insides of it. Just lean into it, dude. Be like, yeah, we're leaning all the way in. Be like as all in to the rebrand as you possibly can. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm like, I don't want little moves. I want swings. I want you swinging for the fences. I don't want a little cylindrical black box. How do you even have a cylindrical box? Rewind. I don't want just a black box or a cylinder that's black or dark gray that is the next Xbox Series XS Plus Ultra. I don't want that. Give me the Xbox 720. That bitch is green and translucent. I can see the insides. When you boot it up, it has a dedicated speaker that's so loud it vibrates your walls as it goes, vroom, which is the patented Xbox sound. I checked. Bring back the Duke controller. Yeah. Make that bitch chunky. Make her dummy thick. You know? When I hold on to it, it should feel like I'm cradling a baby's skull. That's what that should feel like. I want it to be as OG as it possibly can be. Do that, and I think we're talking. Because, you know, Sony's going to come in. They're going to do something fairly straightforward, fairly safe. I think if Xbox wants to differentiate it, go crazy. Go crazy. It's just a subwoofer on the X. That's what I mean. Like when you boot it, you should be worried it's going to tip over. You know? Hell, add some smoke effects. Put a little smoke machine. You can sell it as a little microtransaction, basically, where you get little refills, little capsules you plug into the back, and every time you boot it up, smoke dissipates. It's like a little smoke machine under it. Do that. I'd pay extra. You know, go crazy. Magnetic stand so it floats. Why not? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Go crazy. Go crazy. We don't get crazy anymore. There's like this weird desire to make gaming like really sterile and plastic. We've forgotten how to have fun. You know, it's like, this is the latest device that we've developed in our lab. And we are using RDNA 2, and we also expect to be able to put out 8.3 teraflops of power while maintaining a total draw on the wall of only 270 watts. Screw that! Smoke machine. Green. Baby head. You know, that's what I want. I want crazy. Give me crazy. Make it fun. Make it wild, weird, unapologetic. And for the love of God, come up with a better name than Series X and Series S. Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Come on. The Boga, thank you for that. Do you think anything new will be added to GTA core gameplay, shooting, driving besides side stuff, which probably be better? Hard to imagine what can improve GTA already. Good gameplay. Well, it's expected that they're going to redo like the inventory. So to get a gun, you have to go back to your car's trunk. So your car is going to be much more important than before. I think they also want you to not drive your car like people did in GTA, where it's just total mania. I think they want you to collect cars intentionally and take care of them. So like if all of your inventory, just like the horses in Red Dead 2, is tied to your car, you're not going to drive it off a cliff, jump out, parachute, and land on the quest start icon and then start the quest. They're going to probably like you're going to drive more carefully, more cautiously. So I think they're going to try to keep some pieces and keep it a little more grounded, so you play more realistically. I personally, I'm expecting GTA 6 to play much less arcadey than GTA 5 did. Yeah, I think it'll be much more arcadey. You want a car, you can steal it, but you got to take it in. You got to replace the license plates. You got to get this installed in the back to be able to store your guns on it. Like, I think it's going to be much more Red Dead. I think they're going to bring over a lot of stuff from Red Dead. Startup sound should be the skeleton and shield theme. Make it customizable. What happened to custom backgrounds? You remember the PS4 era? You'd buy a game and one of the pre-order benefits was that you'd get a new background for your homepage. I still, to this day, on my PS4 Pro that's in the closet, I've got that Witcher 3 one installed. When you like, it swaps out all of the UI sounds and elements. Bring that back. Why not? Why not? You know, it's awesome. It was awesome. It was a fantastic thing. Frankly, that made me way more likely to pre-order something for those bonuses than like some random skin I got in the game. You know, bring me back themes. Do that. It's freaking awesome. I don't think it's even a hot take to say that the PS4's UI was way better than the PS5's. The Xbox One was basically the same as the Xbox One. The series consoles are basically the same. Give me something exciting. You know, that's my point. Gaming has gotten really sterile, predictable, and for a lot of people, just unexciting, boring even. Give me something to be excited about. And I think that is something Asha has started to pick up on, is that people want excitement and change and just something new. Doing the same, it's the problem. One of the, that's a lot of effort, Luke. Yeah. This is one of my frustrations with the live servicification of the games industry, is that everything has just turned into, don't do anything big, just do a little tiny bit every 6 months. Never do anything big or bold or crazy. Just do safe stuff when you can. Keep it simple. Like, and so nothing's exciting anymore. Everything is just small, incremental, stupid little stuff, and it drives me up the wall. Drives me up the wall, man. Anyway, do I love the look of the PS5? No, but at least it was something different. Well, to be clear, I like the bold look of the console. I appreciate the bold look of the console of the PS5. I just don't like the UI, and they removed a lot of the personalization stuff as well. Do. Okay. I hated the PS4 store. I mean, I guess the store and recommendations have gotten better. I guess I don't spend much time in the stores anymore, I guess. But yeah, but to be fair, the PS4 itself is hideous or horrendous. I personally, I kind of liked how clean the PS4 Slim to Pro. Is there just a picture, a side-by-side picture? Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I kind of dug the redesign. So the original original PS4 was this chunky, girthy dude with buttons that you couldn't really press, or they'd sometimes get stuck. Remember these stupid buttons? These things sucked. Sounded like a jet engine too. And then they did the PS4 Slim, which is just silky, dude. It's just a good looking console. Realize also, you don't need to buy no $30 stand for it. You just set it up. Who cares? The Pro, they just took that, scaled it up a little, and added another layer. They made that bitch a triple decker. It's the only way to eat a PB&J sandwich, by the way. It's the only way. It's the only way. Triple decker. Toasted. That's how you do it. I make my PB&Js the way I like my PS4 Pros. Triple decker. I love it. And I'll be honest, yes, it's not that bold. I did like how clean it looked. I liked how clean it looked. But I appreciated that with the PS5. They came out and were just bold. You know, they just did something crazy. I respect it. The UI was a little too, like, it's just too rigid. I remember when the PS5 launched, we all thought that they were going to add dynamic themes as a customization option at some point after launch. Like, that was what most of us thought. And then they just never did, which really is too bad because those dynamic themes were awesome, dude. They were awesome. But anyway. Toasted for sure. Yeah, dude, toasted. You're making me hungry. I realize this whole stream I've just been hungry, and that's the reason I keep bringing up food. I self-reported right there. Okay. So with this, I think what I'll do, because I am clearly I'm clearly starving. What I'll do is I'll call it there. Real quick, I read that one. Real quick, Wallet, thank you for that. Themes on the PSP were peak. There was one about toast. Dude, themes just in general, they need to bring those back. They were awesome. They were freaking sweet. They're so good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Stony, again for another gifted. And thank you we reached a hype train, which is crazy on Twitch. Thank you for that. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody on YouTube. You guys were awesome. A jelly deal theme. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm feeling quite hungry. I am. I'm going to call it there. Much love. I will be back Monday, rocking and rolling. We'll see you there. We'll have a great time. And you guys have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. And I love you all dearly. Much love. Mr. Z, thank you for that. Cheers. Yes, cheers to you, my friend. Much love. Don Walker didn't make it. I know. I kind of spaced. I didn't realize how late it was getting. Next time I got to talk less about food. Pretty clearly. We'll get to Don Walker. Don't worry. We'll get to it. We have time. Plenty of time. Much love, everybody. I'll see you soon. Okay. Hugs and kisses. Bye. Mwah.